Okay, Travis says we're ready to go. Thanks everybody for coming to City Council meeting in Spanish Fork tonight, January 6, 2026. We appreciate everybody here in attendance and online watching as well. Thanks for being involved in your community. We'll start like we always do in Spanish Fork with a prayer or motivational message. Councilman Marshall has that assignment, and after that, Councilman Cardin will give us the pledge. We're missing Councilman Kevin Euler tonight. He is away, family vacation, business, family vacation. So he's excused tonight. Councilman Marshall.
You want me to do it?
I want you to do it.
All right. I want to thank this young man for volunteering tonight. He didn't get very much notice, but I appreciate him stepping up and saying yes. He would say the prayer. So Nash Mendenhall, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day. Please us that we'll have a good meeting and we'll be safe and protected, and please us that we'll have a good rest of our week, and please us our country and our freedoms, and please us that we're going to choose the right. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Nash. Appreciate that.
All right, the audience will please arise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, we get to do this every couple of years in city council meetings, and we get to do the oath of office again tonight for elected officials. We'll turn it over to Tara Silver for that.
So I just wanted to start. Not very many people know why we have the oath of office, so I just wanted to quickly share why it's important. The oath of office goes back to the founding of our country. The framers of the Constitution intentionally made it so that the power was in the people's hands and that it was guided by law. That's why we have the Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution that tells us that federal, state, and judicial officers swear allegiance to the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution. And Utah carried that same principle in Article 10, or Article 4, Section 10. And it says municipal officers are supposed to swear their allegiance to the U.S. Constitution and to the state of Utah and to the fidelity of their duties. It not only is a constitutional requirement, it's a public commitment. And it means those who serve will place constitutional duty above personal and political interests, even when it's hard and unpopular. George Washington was the first one to set that example April 30th, 1789, in New York when he did his presidential oath. When public servants raise their arm and take the oath of office today, they are committing themselves to protect the freedoms, laws, and responsibilities that protect the bonds that unite us. It reminds every official that authority is not the right we claim, it is the duty we accept. This is why tonight in Spanish Fork City, the oath is more than a formality. It is a reflection of leadership that rises from the community, is shaped by the community, and works for the community. To those taking the oath tonight, we thank you. We thank you for stepping forward and serving. And to everyone here, we're grateful that you're here for part of this oath of office. Mayor, would you come down with your family?
Thank you.
What's your oath right here? Is that good? Okay.
Pete will move to where he wants, right?
All right, raise your right arm. I state your name.
I, Mike Mendenhall,
Having been elected
to
the office of Mayor of Spanish Fork,
the office of Mayor of Spanish Fork,
do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah and that these duties
and that these duties
will discharge
I will discharge
in my office
in my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Great, thanks. Do you want to come up? It is a lot of words. All right, you ready? I state your name,
I, Shane Marshall,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of councilman
to the office of councilman
of Spanish Fork City,
of Spanish Fork City,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Great, thank you.
Pete, do you want any pictures of them together? You tell us. Whatever you want, yeah.
Bring the families back up, sorry. I'm not being told to do this.
When you're done, if you guys will start right over there, you shake everybody's hand.
So we're be on this side.
Go ahead and join.
Should we lay down so you can't see us?
No. See if you guys will just kind of either sit right here or stand, either way.
Just get out of the way.
If you're gonna do that, then let's do this.
All right. Oh, we got to get close together. I don't like this. Okay, let's do it in separate groups. Okay, we'll do your family and your family. Stay right here. Stay. Sure. Okay, thank you. Awesome, here we go. Thank you.
Can I take this off now?
Nope, entire meeting.
You got 4 years before anybody really tell you.
That's true.
Take off.
If I want to, by heck.
Bye.
You can go.
Like it's dinner time.
That was the last thing she heard, so.
They don't want to talk?
No speeches? Daughters didn't want to give any
I
speeches?
guess not.
They're good?
No, yeah, I guess so.
Could have had
Should I
them-
ask him to come back and
We could have had them roast Dad for just a bit. That would have been good.
pass?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that, Tara. Appreciate that. Important part of the elected world in our country there in our city for sure. So thank you. Before we go to a public comment section, we've got Chief Johnson that is going to give us a briefing on incident that happened in our community that made the news this last week.
Yes, thank you. As you're all aware of, Saturday afternoon, we had an incident involving a domestic violence call where an individual barricaded himself in his residence. Our officers responded upon their initial arrival. While they were searching for the victim, they noticed that a suspect at the residence had a rifle pointed out the window. They took cover, practiced some great sound judgment, situational awareness, some quick actions by their parts, prevented a tragedy that day. And they were able to request a shelter in place evacuate the neighboring houses. And ultimately, the suspect fired some shots at the officers. They exchanged gunfire with the individual. He suffered a minor grazed wound to the head. SWAT was paged. They responded with their Bearcat, and ultimately with the Bearcat on the individual's front lawn and the loudspeaker and some negotiations, they talked him into exiting the residence, where he was safely taken into custody. There wasn't any injuries to officers. There was one officer on scene that suffered a medical episode that was transported by our fire and EMS. But this was a very fluid and volatile situation, and it exemplifies the great response from our neighboring jurisdictions. We had patrol officers from neighboring jurisdictions on scene assisting our officers prior to the arrival of SWAT. Chief Ashby was there with fire and EMS and his crew. They'd requested actually a medical helicopter with blood on it, just in case we needed to transport anyone, that they would be prepared for that. And we have 4 officers on the Metro SWAT team, and this just shows the great cooperation that we have with the resources throughout the county. And when the cavalry's requested, as you could see, it responded. So it was a situation that I think it turned out better than anything we could even imagine. These are the type of calls that officers are killed on, and I think we're very fortunate for the outcome that day. Some of the concerns that I've received is with our reverse 911 system, that some of the neighboring residents there were not notified of the incident. There is a hiccup in our reverse 911 system with dispatch that we've been discussing today and yesterday, and we're going to work with some of our city administration as well as the administration with the county and dispatch so that we can implement some of our information to them so that this doesn't happen in the future, so that the neighbors receive the proper notifications. There was some comments that I don't live in the area and I received a request to shelter in place. That was for the officer that requested the shelter in place. I think due to the adrenaline rush and what was going on, he just requested a mile radius, so that was why there was some residents that received that. But upon my arrival, there were several officers there from other agencies. There were 2 drones in the air. The SWAT commander had just arrived, so from the time that the incident was called and to the time the suspect was taken into custody was about an hour and 15 minutes. So this just shows our great working relationship and the professionalism of law enforcement within the county. So this is an active criminal investigation as well as an administrative investigation. The county OICI team, they responded per protocol to investigate this as a criminal matter, and then we conduct our own in-house administrative investigation to ensure that our officers followed the proper procedures and protocol that's required of them. So I'm not sure if you guys have any questions or anything that maybe I could clarify, but without going into too many details due to the active investigation.
I just think maybe the question I have, Chief, is if people have questions or concerns, would it be best for them to reach out to you, one of your lieutenants? Like who?
Yeah, they can reach out to our office, and either myself or one of our lieutenants could answer any questions they may have.
Because I know that there's just been a few questions on that reverse 911 issue, and I think that you talked about it a little bit, but there might be further questions.
Yes.
So, thank you.
So the county actually, or the dispatch actually sends that shelter in place out.
Yes, it comes through dispatch. And we've done that through the city Everbridge in the past too, but it hasn't been for situations such as this. It's been for a lost child or some, I don't want to say insignificant matter, but not anything, but not anything to this magnitude. So we didn't realize that kind of the hiccup that we had with dispatch on doing that, but we're going to redeem or resolve that situation.
All right. I think that was the feedback I got was around how that happens, who gets notified, what's the radius look like. So I think, as you find some resolution coming back and saying, here's the resolution, this is what it looks like in the future, I think we'd be good, maybe a test case or something.
Yeah, and maybe to be very specific, we have a database that's extremely robust. It has utilities, Parks and Rec data, and it's fresh every week, right? As you sign up for recreation, your data is updated, right? And that data is for some reason not connected into the login at dispatch. So when they pull it, they're pulling perhaps white page information from 10 years ago, which doesn't have my number. It has my old home number, for example, and it's just a big gap in their login to ours. It's goofy, and we're digging into it, since Saturday. It can be overcome, and it will be. And I think one of the things we'll do after that is we'll run some kind of a test. We'll work with dispatch to best way to administer. As a part of that, though, we could certainly include something like, this is what we will use. If you don't want to receive this, opt out. Otherwise, you're in.
That would be good.
And make sure that we've got confidence in that resource, because it's a great tool. We know how wonderful it is because we use it regularly for city functions, and it's great. And so finding that disconnect was extremely frustrating.
But I think we'll get that resolved fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So.
I know I've said it, the council said it privately, but publicly here, Chief, thank you to your officers. Thank you to our neighboring departments. Thank you to the Utah County Sheriff's team, the SWAT team.
Yeah.
I think we're blessed that we have that apparatus within our zip code and close by. For situations like this that don't happen too much, if ever, in our community. But when we Monday morning quarterback some of this stuff and think that yes, let's run towards shots being fired, it takes a different kind of person to actually do that. And the training that you guys put in and what you do is what protects our community and keeps us safe. So
thank you. We have a
publicly.
great team of officers, so we appreciate your support. Thanks.
Yeah, I would echo that too. I mean, sure, from a communication standpoint, right, we'd always want to be more communicative than less. But end of the day, the right people were in front of the situation. People ran to the problem, solved it, resolved it. Like, you couldn't ask for more of that, right? It was taken care of. I live half a mile away. I got the notice. It's a little bit freaky. I can't imagine living on that block, right, and having it all going down and the emotion that you would have being there. But you guys showed up. You ran to what you do. It takes a special person to do that, and I appreciate it. Like, it was good to know that you guys were there. It was a proud moment in this job to know that we have people that work for this community that are running to those things and helping our community members. So thank you very much to the whole team that showed up. I know there was folks from Salem there. I'm sure there were folks from Springville there. Like, man, it's when the bell rings, people come.
Payson, Santa Quinn.
Yeah, people come, and they come like this.
They
So
do. Mapleton.
appreciate all of the help. The resolution was as best we could probably hope for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thanks, Matt.
I think there were I saw vehicles from all over the county, not even just South County, right? Like clear up north. So
Yeah, those are members of the SWAT team.
and then also our EMS team for being there, ready to
Phenomenal
to go
job.
as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll handle.
Thanks. Okay, thank you for letting us fit that in to that section of the agenda. We'll now go to item 4 on the agenda, public comments. This is a section where anybody can come from the public, address the mayor and council, ask questions. Please try to keep it to 3 minutes if possible. If you need some more time, let us know. But please come up and address the mayor and council for anything that's not on the agenda tonight, but what you'd like to talk to us about. We'd love to hear from you.
My name's Clint Harris. This is Janice, my wife. We live at 973 South 2000 West in the the Leland Meadows area in Spanish Fork. So I have some notes here just because I want to be concise. So I'll read these. I'm speaking tonight because of a phone call I received from Dave Anderson shortly before the holidays. During that call, I was told there is now a possibility that farmland could remain in agricultural zoning due to pressure from a small number of vocal neighbors. This was both surprising and concerning. Both the current general plan and the proposed update designate our property as medium density. At a prior council meeting, my wife and I were also clearly told that a neighboring requested agricultural protected overlay would not affect our property's rights and our ability to develop our land. Relying on those public assurances, we have continued in good faith to work with a builder on development plans, something the city staff and council have been aware of throughout this process. What is most troubling is the perception that a small number of individuals, some of whom live outside of Spanish Fork city limits, may be receiving disappropriate consideration, despite not representing our property rights as city residents and landowners. The home my wife and I live in was built by my grandfather, Melvin Atwood, around 1936, and I grew up in that home. My father approached us several times about buying the home, and my wife and I decided to purchase the home in 2015, just a few years before my father passed away. The home and farm are registered as a historic farm with the state of Utah, and it is very dear to our family. After much careful and prayerful consideration, our family made the decision to develop my father's farmland. This was not an easy or quick decision. We have been working through this process for nearly 2 years. As trustee of the land, and after thoughtful reflection, my wife and I believe my father would support the choices we are making. I also want to be clear that my wife and I are not leaving our historic home. Instead, we have partnered with a developer who has worked closely with us to design a neighborhood that provides needed infrastructure for our area while reflecting the kind of homes that we'll be proud to live next to. My family has deep multi-generational roots in Spanish Fork and is among the community's longest established families. As such, we remain committed to welcoming those who choose to make this wonderful city their home. Welcoming and warmth of Spanish Fork is well known for that. We have always been respectful and supportive of our neighbors. We value agriculture and continue to support our neighbors' agricultural rights. At the same time, we expect the city's adopted plans and public assurances to be honored consistently and fairly. The timing of this apparent shift late in the process creates real uncertainty and risk for our family, and we need immediate clarification. Following the December 9th council meeting, I'm requesting to council members, I'm responding to Councilman Marshall's invitation for landowners to meet individually with council members, and I am honoring Councilman Beck's request that this concern be raised publicly. I respectfully and urgently request the opportunity to meet with each of you in the coming weeks to discuss this matter directly. I will follow up with email to coordinate my schedule, or our schedules. My question tonight is, will each of you as council members meet with my wife and I to discuss our concerns?
Heck yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the time.
Before you go, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You started this by saying Dave gave you a call. I'm curious, what was your takeaway from that? Because the way you made it sound was that there's a small group of people that want your property general plan in a certain way. Is that the takeaway you took?
From what I understood when Dave called, there was a proposal to make the whole area an agriculture.
Including you?
Including us.
Okay. All right. It's not quite the proposal, but that's why you want to meet with us. So I totally understand. Okay. Perfect.
We definitely want to just make sure we're all on the same page and
Okay.
that we're able to move forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Valerie Mills, and I want to officially congratulate Mayor Mendenhall and Councilman Marshall, also Kevin Euler, who's not here tonight. Thank you, Tara. I loved the way that you referenced the Constitution and the Article 6 and the importance of that constitutional oath. So I didn't have any delusions in running for city council on the odds of unseating an incumbent, but I did take satisfaction in having taught the U.S. Constitution to dozens of public school students, in former Utah Supreme Court Justice Dallin Oaks and current faith leader, his 2016 talk on the Constitution, saying, you want to support the Constitution, run for office, which I was so relieved. I don't know if you felt the burden of my, I just woke up with great appreciation for each one of you, because the morning after the election, I did feel I had a definite willingness to serve, and I would humbly request a little different priorities, but I felt so relieved, and that gave me an incredible appreciation for what each one of you do. So heartfelt thanks. Fertilizing some flowers as far as what's been done, in my view, which is a top priority the city should have, would be just essential municipal government functions, including sidewalk maintenance. And so I don't know, Corey, if the thanks goes to you or to Seth Perrins, or how it was orchestrated that two hardworking gentlemen came grinding sidewalks in my neighborhood from about December 11th to the 19th, but I am truly grateful. I've lived there 5.5 years, and they ground down 4 trip hazards, the front and side of my house. Mitchell Drive, Tyler and I had a conversation about it a couple years ago. Mitchell Drive, there's glee in my neighborhood from some of the retired residents who walk a lot. And just a quick rundown, 344 Mitchell Drive had 5 vertical rise trip hazards ground down. You can see those, that they're freshly ground down, that the white dust is fresh, and that's in front of one home, 5 trip hazards. 366 Mitchell Drive had 8, 701 Mitchell Drive had 6, 655 had 6, 651 had 5, 689 had 3, 599 had 3, 574 had 3, 572 West, 550 North, 1 block north of me, had 7. So I just really, really appreciate that. I feel very grateful that that's been prioritized, and that those gentlemen were able to do a wonderful job making our neighborhood safe for our retired residents to walk, and some of us who are not yet retired to just feel more at ease in the neighborhood. Thank you for all that you do and for prioritizing that essential government function. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Valerie.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Valerie.
Valerie.
Hi, I'm Deidre Tregaskis. That's a mouthful. And I'm representing some other people. Actually, I don't know any of them yet. We're just talking virtually. But they're all in the Legacy Farms development. We are having some major concerns with some noise. Someone in this group wrote a petition, and unfortunately he's not able to be here, so I'm here. So we would like to raise concerns about a persistent high-pitched tonal noise that has been affecting our community. For many of us, the sound is clearly audible inside our homes, even with windows closed. It is not occasional or intermittent, but continues and appears to originate from nearby industrial operations, specifically hydro. Residents have identified the sound as a distinct narrowband tone, approximately 700 to 750 hertz, a frequency known to be especially intrusive to human hearing. While the sound may not always appear excessive when measured only by average decibel levels, constant tonal noise is widely recognized as more disturbing than general background noise. Its effects include interrupted sleep, headaches and stress, difficulty concentrating, a reduced sense of comfort and well-being in our own homes. Me personally, I have suffered a lot. You can talk to anybody who knows me, and this last year has been a nightmare because it's just gotten worse and worse. I've seen a lot of doctors and specialists trying to be able to sleep through this, and it has been debilitating and has affected everyone in my household. So, let's see. As City Council, we would ask for you and relevant authorities to acknowledge this tonal noise as a distinct and significant nuisance, not just a decibel issue. I've talked to Officer Carter. He's not able to do anything per the current standards that the city has established. We ask that you conduct a proper noise assessment, including frequency analysis, engage with responsible industrial operators to identify the source and implement reasonable mitigation measures. For example, equipment tuning, silencers, acoustic shielding, operational adjustments, and ensure this enforcement of existing noise and nuisance ordinances, particularly those addressing nighttime disturbances and persistent sounds. We're not seeking to shut down business. We don't want to hurt anybody, hinder economic activity. We're just asking for help, for reasonable, practical solutions so that we can sleep and rest and live in our own homes comfortably. So.
Thank you, Deidre.
Yeah, any questions?
Have we got your information besides the police department? Police department
We
probably
do,
does.
yeah.
Okay.
And I've had some conversations with the Hydro manager, and
I have to.
yeah, he mentioned that you had visited with him as well. He appreciated that phone call. It's I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's the fan that they have. It runs all the time, and it's run for probably
30 years.
30 or
That's what
40
he said.
years, yeah. And in our wonderful conversation, he shared that they are actually constantly looking at ways to mitigate the sound because it doesn't fall inside the ranges, as Deidre mentions. They've done sound tests. They did sound tests before any of the development that happened immediately around there 7 or 8, 10 years ago to establish some good baselines. And freeway noise, highway noise, that's, I think, probably something that you probably experienced as you interacted with our officer. The noise on Highway 51 registers on those decibel meters more than the sound emanating from that. So it's not a decibel issue, it's the tone range, right?
Yeah, even if you changed, a higher frequency doesn't travel as far.
Right.
It's just that lower frequency travels far. We're about a mile away.
Yep, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, it's an interesting challenge for sure. It's not interesting to you. It's
Nope.
frustrating for sure, right? But I say all of this to say he's very aware of it. He knows what the issues are. He knows that in terms of our law, it doesn't violate it, but he's like, I'm a resident of this town. I care deeply about this. We're working with, I don't know if he told you, I think he did, that they've had a few different sound engineer groups come out. They feel like they have some possibilities that can have some good results. So they are working on that, and I'm hopeful. That I ended that conversation with him really hopeful on some of the things that they're trying to do. So I'm hopeful.
Okay.
Does that make you feel
Well, I mean,
better?
they're words.
Yeah.
We had these
emailed us
words.
a couple of weeks ago, and then I emailed back, and she hadn't heard from anyone. And I said, "Come and address us publicly at City Council, just put it on record." And
Yeah, about 6 months ago, I was going 6 to 7 nights without any sleep, day or night. Doctors were actually wondering how I was still alive, and their hands were tied with insurance, and so we were just kind of waiting for my organs to shut down so that maybe they could do something. And we talked then, and there were no solutions then, and so it's been that was really hard for me because it made it seem like it was just a me problem. But then I was someone actually called me and said, "Hey, I heard about this group doing this," and this was just a casual acquaintance, but she knew of my struggles with this, and she said, "You should talk to them." And so I joined this group, and there are a lot of people there's some teenagers who are really struggling. One of the teenagers is mine as well, but they're struggling with insomnia, and it affects you. No sleep is really a big deal. So there's a lot more people than just me who are dealing with this. There's a petition going around, so yeah.
I'm sorry, I feel so bad. And Seth, besides talking to Hydro, is there anything else we can do?
Well, again, the law, I'm going to be not the city attorney, so Vaughn can shut me down here in a second if you like to, but as I read the law, I don't know that it violates the law. And so I think the first step is to work with them to try to remedy it like they already are, and they're very willing. They're a very environmentally conscientious group, right? Their name is Hydro. It's very important to them. So, yeah, I think we're on the right path. I think Deidre's skepticism is probably not unfounded, right? And so I think it's healthy. And he mentioned also, though, that the gentleman I was talking to, that he knows you personally. I think he said he had a personal connection with your family. And,
So they're super nice. They want to change things, but
and so I think
don't know what they can do.
we're going down the right path.
yeah. So if we can just keep talking and keep being in the loop, that'd be great.
Thank you for getting it on the record here. This is an important part of it. This is who you're supposed to come talk to and have an issue with, and we'll follow up on it with staff and the company and make sure we're aware of it. Please feel free to reach out to us and keep us apprised of progress too. And we hope there's something here in the future that can work out.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deidre.
Thank you, Deidre. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Well, these are the best dressed kids that came to see us tonight. I was hoping they'd say something.
Hello, Spanish Fork. We are the Constitution Life Youth Council of American Preparatory Academy. We are pleased to address the council today. We are a team of students who have joined the Constitution Life organization to inspire schools, clubs, and associations and city governments to plan readings of the Constitution and or the Bill of Rights. We are excited to commemorate the 250th birthday of American independence this year, and it wouldn't be possible without our beloved Constitution to protect it. That's why we want to invite Spanish Fork to join the celebration in a big way. We want to schedule a Constitution reading right here in Spanish Fork. We propose holding a community reading of the Constitution to go along with celebrations Spanish Fork already has in place. If that doesn't work, Constitution Month, and it would be a great time to bring the community together to read the Constitution. We are happy to help you host your own reading anytime throughout the year. All we would need from you is a venue and a publicity to promote the event. We can invite families, the young and the old, to come read with us. Even period actors to portray historical figures like Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and Betsy Ross. Let's make this a really special event that we will remember for many years to come. Please open your calendar and let's pick a date today. We can wait a minute for you to discuss it.
Where's Emily when we need her?
Yeah. Everyone up here loves the Constitution except Councilman Cardin,
That's
so
not true.
he might have some say in that.
Love it.
Tell us your name.
I'm Max Colby.
Max Colby?
Yes.
And who's with you?
This is my school friend. Her name is Naomi. And then this is our advisor.
Perfect. Well, you're looking for a specific date. Did you mention a date in there or during Constitution Month?
Well, any time of the year is fine, even though it is Constitution Month.
This month is Constitution Month?
September's Constitution
That's what I
Month.
thought. Okay.
But if that time doesn't work for you, we can do any time of the year.
Well, I can tell you as the mayor, and somebody else will have to figure it out, but we will provide a space for you to have a reading of the Constitution and participation of it, and we will not charge you for that, and we will have good folks like this guy here with the camera, Pete's like who, or Travis in the back there, and we will make sure that we have coverage of it, and it's out to the world of reading the Constitution.
If you have any questions, can you please email our advisor, Elizabeth Jukes at ejukes@apamail.org, and we will give you more information. You can also find our information on this flyer, and we are happy to help you with your event or just attend it if you want to run it on your own. I am your appointed youth council representative, and I am happy to answer any questions or give any assistance needed.
Awesome.
Very good job.
We're in good hands with him.
Yeah.
If you're going to be leading our country here in the next decade.
Yeah.
He'd open in 4 years if you're interested.
Our attorney on staff here.
Thank you so much.
Probably gets nervous when I make a, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're called a weak mayor form of government, which means I'm just the pretty face up here, and I get to direct the meeting, but I don't even vote, and so I don't have any legislative authority. So me going out and just telling you that yes, we're going to get that done without the council is probably a little presumptuous, but
Okay.
I'm sure I've got a supportive council
Yes.
when it comes to the Constitution
100%.
and young kids right here. Shane,
You're
you were a little
committed.
late to
You're
that.
good
You're all right?
committed, yes.
Yep.
So, thank you. We'll, with your contact information, is it on here, or are you giving it
It's
to
on
us,
there.
Ms. Jukes?
Her email's on there. Yep. It's on
Perfect.
the bottom. Yep.
Perfect. We'll be in touch with you in a day in September and try to make sure we got the right time and place. And would love to have you join and read with us and invite the public down here. I think 250th anniversary, Seth, we got a lot of exciting things happening. Some of that's on the agenda tonight with our Fiesta Days, but this can certainly add to it.
Absolutely. It's only once every 250 years that we get to celebrate something like that birthday. So I think it'll take us 3 or 4 months to learn how to say in special language 250th birthday. You know, it took me a while to get sesquicentennial, and that doesn't fit here. So it's at least a bisesquicentennial, but I don't even know if that's right. So yeah, this is a big deal.
Now, where's American Preparatory Academy?
We have seven different campuses, but our campus is located right in between Elkridge, Payson, and Salem.
That's right there. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us tonight in council meeting. You're welcome anytime, and we'll make sure to get you on the calendar for this.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you so much for coming. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to council comments. We'll start with Councilwoman Beck, go this way, and end on Councilman Marshall. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Councilwoman Beck.
Happy New Year, everyone. I think the only thing I have tonight, speaking of Fiesta Days, is starting February 1st, the website will go live, and entries for the Grand Parade and different, the craft booths, food vendor booths will all be live. And you'll find out that those go fast sometimes. So mark your calendars, set your alarms if you are interested in being in the parade, being a food vendor, craft vendor. Please apply just here in a couple weeks. And that's all I have.
Gets here before you know it.
Yes,
in the
it
next
is.
year, huh?
Yeah.
Councilman Cardin?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. Today I was able to meet with the Rotary Club. They are getting ready to start. They're planning for the golf tournament, which is a scholarship golf tournament, if you weren't aware. Their plan is to give away 25 scholarships this year, which is...
To the golfers?
Not to the golfers, no. To students of Spanish Fork, Salem, and maybe even Payson this year. So they've had quite a few people that have been trying to, or that need scholarships because school is expensive. And so they're trying to give away $2,500, $1,500 scholarships. Along with that, a few of us were able to attend the Tabitha's Way Christmas basket giveaway just a few weeks ago before Christmas. They gave away right around 600 baskets. What an asset that is to have in our community. There's a lot of families that are in real need right now. So if you're looking for ways to give back, both of those, Rotary and Tabitha's Way, are both really good ways to help with that. Just one other thing that I have on my list is we are maybe not approximately, 2 weeks away from the session starting on the Hill. City Manager Perrins is really excited because he spends a little bit of time up there with our local officials, with our state officials, and helping with that. Just putting it out there. Make sure that if you have concerns of things that you hear, I know the news likes the things that maybe are a little bit more clicky, and you can click on them and read the news about them. But if there are things that you're concerned about, please reach out to our representatives. They are all very responsive and do listen really well. Please take the time to know what's going on in our state, because those do affect us here in Spanish Fork. And with that, we have Local Officials Day coming up on the 21st, so hopefully all of us will be there with the Youth City Council. I think a couple of us might be driving up there with the Youth City Council, so that'll be that'll be fun. And then last, again, I think that we've said it a lot tonight, but again, thank you to our public safety, who through the holidays spent a lot of time away from their home while we all got to be with our families. So thank you, Chief. Thank you for Chief Hells, who is not here tonight, but thank you for what you guys do and your teams. Please pass it along to them. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank
Jesse,
you.
in case you wonder, 2 months from tonight is when the legislative session ends.
Sweet.
We're counting down.
You already got your chain figured out, or is that just Cameron?
2 months from tonight.
And do we wait till after the Youth City Council local day at the legislature to tell the story about Tyler Jacobson taking the Youth City Council up there, or do we tell it now?
I don't know if we've all heard it.
I think it's good to wait.
Just wait till after?
It can probably be told anytime.
Seth was involved too, though.
I wasn't there.
Tyler Jacobson, well, the kids kind of
I
left.
was not
and they looked
there.
like Youth City Council type kids, but one time our assistant city manager took the Youth City Council up in the van, responsible for youth, did a great job all day showing them around the Capitol, taking them to the convention. They learned so much. And then he got back in the parking garage where he'd parked the van, forgot his wallet, and had to ask them for cash to get out of the parking garage,
Really?
Yeah.
or else they weren't getting home.
Wow.
So grateful those kids brought money that day.
He's reminding me that I was there. I don't remember being there. But if
You definitely were donating, apparently.
If he remembers me being there, I would have forgotten my wallet too, which makes it even double funny, right?
No, really.
And why would they have cash? I mean, who carries cash these days that's under the age of
Not the
16?
two chaperones.
Hence the reason why city council members are being asked to drive instead of the assistant city
We
manager.
actually we paid them back, just so you know. The kids got their money back.
Did they get
okay.
interest on that money? Did we pay them back with
They
interest?
probably got PTIF. Yeah, they probably
okay.
got PTIF on
All
it.
right. Councilman Cardin will take care of the youth this time, right?
Thankfully.
Councilman Took.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Hello, Spanish Fork. It's good to be with you. This evening, we have with us Kathleen Levitt, the president of our Chamber of Commerce, so I'd like to just turn the time over to her for a minute.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year, everyone. It's good to see you all. Cat's out of the bag. On Facebook, we have moved offices. So the Chamber of Commerce has moved locations. The old location is up for rent. Contrary to public comment online, no one forced us to move. We moved on our own accord. We had a really good opportunity to be a little bit more responsible with our membership dues and reduce our rent, as well as get into a brand new office space. So we're super excited. We're across from the fairgrounds at 726 South Main Street. It should be all updated online, so it should be easy to find us. So come visit anytime and see our pretty new office, but we're excited about that. We're all officially moved in. And just a few dates coming up to take note of. January 15th is our new networking luncheon for this month. We're being hosted by Bonsai Flooring, which is down by the airport. They're new members of ours, and they're really excited. We're going to do their ribbon cutting and new networking at the same time, hopefully to get a lot of businesses down there to learn about their business and support that side of Main Street. Then January 26th at 6 p.m. is our awards gala. I'm super looking forward to this one. It's going to be at the Amavi event venue. So please put that date on your calendars if you don't have it already. I'm hoping to have you all in attendance. That would be wonderful. And then Bills and Bagels, it is coming up time for that. So the dates for those this year are January 31st and February 28th, both at 7:30 a.m. at the Nebo School District Boardroom. So that's January 31st and February 28th are the dates for Bills and Bagels. And that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Appreciate all you do with the Chamber of Commerce and support Spanish Fork, so appreciate that. All right, just a couple more items from me this evening. So just across the street last night was the Parks and Recreation Committee meeting, monthly meeting, and it was excellent. We discussed a lot of really important things, moving projects forward in Spanish Fork. We discussed all the wonderful things that are going well with the new Fit City Rec Center and opportunities for improvement as well. So it was fun to be part of those conversations, and thank you, Del Robinson, for leading us. Also, I just wanted to, on the topic of the Fit City Rec Center, wanted to just let everyone know, if you weren't aware of it or you didn't see it on social media, just how wonderful the ribbon cutting and dedication was. It's been about a month. December 12th is when that took place. We were lucky enough to all be there, and it was just a really special occasion, and it's doing so well. It's fun to see what's happening, and if you haven't been yet, my goodness, the time is now. Go check it out. It's phenomenal, all the exciting things going on there. So we're very happy about that. And lastly, from me, I was able to attend today the part of the Public Works annual banquet, and really impressed by all the great work that is being done just in our city with our Public Works. It's a massive department, our largest department in the city, and Corey did a phenomenal job leading everyone. It was just really it was wonderful to see how many great employees we have doing amazing things in the city, and all of their accomplishments and inventions and creations to do work better and more effective and to save money on the budget and all these things. It was impressive. One last thought I wanted to share was a couple weeks ago, there was a few neighbors in my area who reached out to me about a concern in the road, and I reached out to Corey and said, hey, this isn't a priority sort of situation, but here's where it's at, and what, if you don't mind sending a crew there at some point to fix it, that'd be much appreciated by many people in this area. The next morning, I kid you not, on my way to work, I drove by and he had a crew right there fixing it, and it was so impressive, and I had people reaching out thanking me, and I said, well, thanks to the Public Works folks. They, the streets folks, they do amazing work. So anyway, thank you, Corey. Thank you to your team. Appreciate you very much. And that's all I've got, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Took. Appreciate that. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce, for a minute. Councilman Marshall.
Thanks, Mayor. Happy New Year. Great to be in 2026, right? Looking forward to the next 4 years. Valerie, thanks for coming. Appreciate you running. It's not easy, and I do really appreciate you sticking along for the ride and coming to the events and actually running. Appreciate that. So thank you very much. Keep it up. Keep pushing us. We'll definitely listen to you anytime. So thank you very much. Again, looking forward to 4 years, 4 more years. So thank you, city. Thank you, citizens, for allowing us to be up here for another 4 years. Nothing really to report. Tomorrow is the Veterans Council meeting, which I'm going to pledge several $1,000s for a new memorial, to upgrade the memorial. So you need to find the checkbook. Thank you, Seth.
Get a couple of your buddies to support it. We're all in.
Okay, good. Okay. Any takers? Jesse's got my back. He said.
That's 2.
That's 2 votes. No, they're a great group of people. We'll probably start talking about what happens if that building ever starts to turn over a little bit. It's time to talk to them about
Absolutely.
it.
Love that.
And they are all interested in what that could be, what that might look like. So, yeah, we'll start that conversation and we'll go from there. Thanks, Mark.
Is that the cemetery?
Before we move on from Shane, with this new 4 years, is this the new look that we're going to?
Oh no, this is done.
No, I think that's what you signed up for when you come in. You get sworn in that way.
I believe people wear these all the time. Why would you do that? Bad idea.
You used to.
I know. And my neck is telling me, don't do it again.
If we make a motion.
Yeah, we can make a motion.
Go for it.
Just get 2 or 3 guys. Thank you, Council. Appreciate your good work over the holidays and being to your meetings. I want to mention a couple of things here. First of all, former police chief before Mayor, Chief Johnson, and then before Chief Adams, before him, Chief Rosenbaum, had a family incident just a few days ago. His sweet wife, Diane Rosenbaum, passed away. Both great people in our community. She's heavy in the dance community. If anybody danced, Stacy, maybe you can tell us this more, but if anybody danced throughout the 90s and 2000s, they probably...
Oh, you think I'm a lot younger than I am.
Well, that's what I was saying.
But my kids did.
Your kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So did mine.
Diane's a great loss in our community.
Yeah.
Well loved.
Yeah.
Well known.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the Rosenbaum family and their extended family at the loss of their mom, loss of their wife. Tough time for them, and we're thinking of them. So, I sent Tyler a couple pictures. First in the meeting, a meeting that happened just the other day with some counterparts It's hard to see in this picture because I took it on 0.5 to try to get everybody. But these are legislators and representatives of all three of our cities that work together on a lot of projects. So Mapleton, Springville, and Spanish Fork, with legislators that cover all of those areas with us, discussing some pretty important stuff. Some progress on, I know as citizens we've seen on the freeway, the Dry Creek Parkway that has a big closed thing across it, and you can't get off of it now or get on the freeway from there now. But this was a meeting of trying to get a timeline of when that's going to get done and the other improvements that need to go in it to really be a huge blessing and a benefit to our community, but really regionally, all three of our communities in South Utah County. So it was a good update to get from the folks at UDOT and share that with the cities as well. Seth, I don't know if you wanted to share any specifics on that, but things are moving forward.
I think it's okay to share some of the specifics. I mean, nothing's definite, right? The big one, but I think it's okay to say what we're talking about.
All right, you said yes. Go ahead and say it.
Want me to say it?
Now we all want to know.
Oh, okay.
So. Yeah, we're like, whoa.
So, the two main things we talked about was the Dry Creek interchange, and that, of course, is coming. You can see that, and that's a big deal, opening up that intersection there. Not intersection, but that interchange. That interchange has been in the discussions and works phase since 2013-ish. Which in freeway timelines isn't that long, right? But in yours and my timelines, like, oh my gosh, that's forever.
Sped up after Shane was gone.
Probably, yeah, probably. When somebody showed up with a tie, they're like, okay, let's take it serious. But to see that construction now, knowing that we've been talking about it, working through all of the issues associated with that, including the funding for that, it's great to see that near the finish line. And that interchange, as Mayor mentioned, it'll be open this year, and I think 5 lanes will go to Highway 51 this year, by the end of this year, which is kind of a Herculean effort due to some of the challenges that they'd had with some railroad crossings in that area. The other one is the Provo Sub Railroad Consolidation, and that's a really big mouthful. And the Provo Sub Consolidation Project includes 2 sets of railroad tracks, one that's on our boundary with Mapleton and one that comes on a map. They're really close together as they leave Provo. They're right next to each other, and then they separate, and there's a decent amount of land between them. And then one leaves significantly, and it kind of comes along Highway 51 and then wraps around by the Diamond Fork Apartments and then parallels Highway 6 on its way up the canyon. Those 2 railroad tracks are very similar in their end, and they go the exact same place. And so we've been talking about potentially consolidating those, as in putting them close together and eliminating one of them, the western one, for probably another 12 or 14 years. And 12 or 14 years ago when we started talking about this, it was, boy, wouldn't it be great if? And then that was met with, yeah, that probably could happen sometime after you die and your kids die. So maybe in the next 100 years. And as we have continued working forward, and candidly, this Spanish Fork team, all of us, including you elected officials, have been consistently pushing on this topic of consolidating the railroads, eliminating crossings, and making crossings safer. Talking with federal delegations and whatnot, and little by little, this little train is gaining momentum and is now becoming a very, very real possibility. We've received funding. We, the collective, UDOT, Spanish Fork City, UTA, the railroad, all of us in this kind of team, we've received federal funding to do the environmental and 30% design on what this project could look like. It's about $7 or $8 million of federal funding with a little bit of a state match, which we have those funds secured as well. to study the actual and to 30% design the actual consolidation, which means that that western track that's down by Highway 51 and along Highway 6 could go away. And what 12 or so years ago was maybe, within 100 years you could do that, is now in the world of projects, I might say it's a phase one project, right? That in the next 10 years, it's not next year. And nobody should leave here saying this is a done deal. But in the next 5 to 10 years, a very real possibility, and I'd say more on the 7 to 10 year range. But there's a real possibility that this consolidation project could happen. And if it does, I would call this a generational project. This is huge. And so in this meeting, to have that conversation of here are the things that are happening that lead to the possibilities of these things happening, and they're much more of a possibility. I wouldn't say yet a reality, but much more of a possibility today than ever before. And this is a huge deal. You might see me start talking about this, just as much as, say, the sewer treatment plant. It's a big deal.
Wow.
A lot. Yep.
It's exciting.
Will Corey light up as much though?
He won't, but I will.
No, I think Corey will. I think everybody will. I mean, this is a huge deal, right? To get rid of that track that parallels Highway 6 changes a lot of things for our connectivity to that major artery of our community. And I didn't highlight it, and I should. That means that every crossing along that the railroad tracks between us and Mapleton would be upgraded. Everyone to the safest standards. Probably should be, and I say probably because that's in our plans, but would probably also be upgraded to a quiet zone standard from Provo to the mouth of the canyon, which would make it so the horn blowing that we know so well should go away. All three cities are unified in that approach. Private crossings, public crossings, and if all of those get upgraded, then you could get rid of that whistle, which would be, again, life-changing. So, very big deal.
That's awesome.
Very big deal. It felt like a great start to 2026 to just have a meeting with all the counterparts from the cities that this affects in the region that it affects and in the room, and kicking off on the right foot of 2026. So more to come, and we'll keep you updated as that continues to happen. But a big deal on Monday to get that going. Thank you, Seth, for that. Lastly, I sent Tyler another couple of pictures. I have to explain that this is the picture that made it in social media of how excited I was of the Fit City Center. Jack's not here, but I'm sure he had something to do with it because he's always putting people's faces in weird things. And so he caught that one. The reason was because Kevin almost cut my face off with the scissors.
That is true.
You saw it?
Your ear
you
was
were right
gone.
there?
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yep.
And he said to me, "We need to sharpen these scissors." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa!
No.
We need to teach scissor safety."
Yeah,
bad.
Kathleen, he needs to come. Those are your scissors, and you need to train.
You have to cut on the right part of the scissors.
It's true. Kevin's banned from cutting for a little bit, and I'm banning from smiling with cameras around for a bit. But hey, Councilman Took said it, and I know we've beat it to death a little bit for how excited we are about the Fit City Center. But my goodness, when you're down there, pay attention to the parking lot. How many people are there? Again, it makes me smile that the handicap stalls are taken up. There's people there that have limited mobility in other places that are finding a place to be, and I don't know where they were before. I'm just glad that they're at the Fit City Center. I'm glad that all the kids are there, those basketball courts, those pickleball courts, the pool. They're all insanely busy, which makes Dale's folks insanely busy down there, and Nick Porter's. But boy, there's a lot of smiles, and there's a lot of people just being together and being healthier. So thank you for everyone to pull it off. Thank you again publicly, Council, for seeing it through. Not always easy decisions, but right decisions, and that's the right one. And it will be for a generation. So good work, everybody, and we'll see you down there because I think we see the whole dang city down there, and other people from other communities. So,
Dale, is the water temperature resolved?
It's warmer.
We have to ask.
That is the frequently asked question.
Yep.
We're getting closer. It takes some time to get all that regulated with all the new equipment and chemicals and air, getting used to the air inside the building and the temperature outside the building. It's a bigger process than just turning up the thermostat.
Sure.
So I think we're at about 96 degrees for the leisure pool at the moment, which it's funny.
96?
96?
Sorry. Yeah, 96. We got a hot tub.
I think we put a hot tub in.
Finally. Try 86.
That's so warm.
It's interesting because I took the opportunity a few times to go visit with some parents and some kids while they were having a break in the pool, asking them about the temperature of the water. The mothers think it's cold. The kids love it. Now, I know the little ones. And so we're trying to find that happy medium, and we will. We're getting there.
The day I was there, it was perfect.
See, that's what we like to hear.
Mayor, before we go on,
Yeah.
Seth texted me and asked if I could share the Fiesta Days theme. So I sent the logo to Tyler. And are you done though?
Yes.
Okay.
After that picture, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm excited about everything.
So the 2026 Fiesta Days theme is at the heart of it all. And our executive chair, Lindsay and Gary Coffey, Lindsay's just brilliant at coming up with things. And she knew it was the 250th anniversary of our country. And so she brought a hand-drawn logo to one of our meetings, and the only difference was it looked like that cowboy was riding a buffalo, which really would have fit, but we put him on a bull instead. But what's really cool is that Escalante and Dominguez came down the Spanish Fork River in 1776 as well. And so just everything just is represented in this logo with Thurber and our farming community and the Icelandic settlements that came in and our settlers, so many different people. So this will tie in later when we talk about the 250th celebration. But Seth asked me that I share the theme, and it's at the heart of it all. So there you go.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yep. People will be asking for T-shirts already.
They might be, and they won't be available till July.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, council, and the public. We got some staff reports. Seth,
Yeah,
do we have
thanks,
anything?
Mayor. And anytime I'm in the Capitol, which is more often than I want to be, but anytime I am there with anybody that I'm there with, I make sure in the rotunda to have them look up and see that of the 4 frescoes that are on the ceiling of the Capitol, 1/4 of them are about Spanish Fork. And I kid you not, the majority of the people that I point that out to have no idea what I'm talking about. Wow. So then I take more time to educate them about how important Spanish Fork City is to the history of our community, to our state, of course. Yeah, that's a big deal. So 1776, a lot of good things happened, including Dominguez and Escalante coming into Spanish Fork Valley. So here I call it the valley, coming along the Spanish Fork River. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Let's continue the theme of the Fit City Center. Dale, why don't you touch on the Fit City Center and then an FOL update, and then I've got a couple of items I'll touch on.
Okay, yeah, let me share a few interesting statistics that are not going to surprise Councilman Cardin, because he turns and goes the other way when it's really busy down there, which is smart.
Just one day.
We had, these are some interesting statistics, though. So since we cut the ribbon, starting December 15th, we've had over 40,000 visitors in 3 weeks. So 30,000 of those are members, but we had 9,800 who were just daily admissions that just decided to come and join in the fun. Just to give you some information on our memberships, we have currently sold 5,932 memberships. A large number of those are families, obviously, so our total members are 18,640. So that's it's I don't know that it's exceeded our expectations, but it's kind of blown us away. We expected this to be something that people were going to love, and you kind of got to find your time. I think the timing was great to be able to get kids indoors. We still haven't seen the runners indoors yet because it's still warm outside. So I think you're going to have another influx of those coming to make good use of the track. But it's also New Year's resolution time. So gyms get very busy this time of year. So it's overly crowded at the moment. And I love, those are the first baskets that Spanish Fork City has ever purchased. And it's so rewarding and fun to see kids fill those gyms up and start interacting with each other and getting pickup games put together with total strangers. And there's so many social benefits to that, as well as physical and mental. You're able to see all of the things come to fruition that we've been preaching and hoping would happen with the center. We do have its challenges. It's still a new facility, so be patient with us. We're working on water temperatures, and we're working on, a leak here or something there, and a scanner, please. Yeah, we do understand the issues, and they're going to be resolved. It's going to take a little bit of time, but they will be resolved. But we're totally excited for the number of people that are. That have joined us, and please give us your feedback. I told the Parks and Rec committee last night, and they just bombarded me with all kinds of things, right? Like whether it was them or they heard from their neighbor that we need more of this, or we didn't like that, or this was an issue, or can you look at this? We want to massage this. We're not going to be able to solve everybody's issue, but we want to make this the best possible place that we can for our citizens, and make sure that we're meeting their needs the best that we can with the center. I got a ton more statistics, but that's pretty much what I have for today, and we know that we're looking forward to the next phase of this, which we're hoping will come Memorial Day, unless it's snowing, which is a possibility. We don't know here in Utah, but we're excited for this next phase to open up as well, which will just give us that much more room to enjoy the amenities there.
Maybe just to add, we've looked at the memberships. You remember the pro forma that we put together, the data that the estimates that we have, and the facility's been open for 2.5 weeks, technically speaking. And in terms of the numbers, we are about, I don't think we're 3/4 of the way, but we're at least 2/3 of the way there in hitting what our pro forma said would be a very sustainable membership count and daily entrance count. Of course, we're only 3 weeks in the dailies, and we had a Christmas break, but the numbers that we have are very, very strong, and like I said, we're clicking right along at about 2/3. It's probably the low-hanging fruit, so now the center is going to have to earn the rest. Dale, what he said, I want to reemphasize, and for anybody that goes there, I've seen in a few different places a QR code on a wall that says, please give us your feedback. If we don't know what your questions or thoughts or worries are, we can't do anything about it, so please give us that feedback. I will say and emphasize, it won't be everything to everybody. And so we're not going to do this, or we can't do that, or whatever. It won't be everybody's everything. But we'd love to give thought to anything if you have that suggestion. So please share it. We're very interested in that kind of feedback. All right, Festival of Lights.
I got to say, we asked Jagger walking around the track and seeing him shoot hoops with a kid, and said, "Who's that kid?" Just thinking it was a friend from school or something. He says, "I don't know. He just asked me to play 1v1." I said, "Okay, all right." So, new buddies being made at the Fit City Center every day. It's pretty fun.
Festival of Lights. Do you have that? You want me to take it?
Current numbers, I know we had over 18,000 cars. I don't remember the exact number.
So yeah, you'll recall this year we made some significant changes to the route, not really the route, to the ticketing booth location, requiring entrances, pre-purchased tickets. That eliminated some of the guests that would just spontaneously come. It didn't probably eliminate all of them, because on most nights, if you said, "Oh, I want to go," while you were in line, you might be able to get a ticket. Or certainly, an hour before, if you thought about it at 6, you probably had a ticket you could buy at 7:30 or 8. We sold out 2 nights, 1,000 cars, which isn't far off of our records. I think the highest number we've had in any given year is 1,079. So we had 2 nights at 1,000 cars. But most impressively, and we put this in a note to you guys, but most impressively, that the line never hit Canyon Road, and we had 1,000 cars. Last year on a 900 car night, on a 1,000 car night, we would be on Canyon Road. It was just a matter of how far back. And the furthest we got back was past, I think, the Somerset.
We got back to the fire station.
Townhomes and right about to the fire station, which means we're getting close to an intersection of a light, which we didn't want to have happen. So we got, what would you say, half mile out of the line?
Yeah, probably about that.
Something at the worst.
Yeah, our longest wait was about 16 minutes.
But most impressively, even at the back of the longest night's line, your wait from the back of the line to get in the park was only about 15 to 20 minutes, which is a huge change. I think Brian Perry would tell us that they'd watch a whole movie from the time they got in line to the time they would get into the park. So big change there. And probably the thing that warmed my heart the most is the feedback that we got from many of our patrons, which was, "Thank you. This experience for me was so much better because it didn't take my whole night, and we were happy when we got in, and we were happy when we got out." So that's a really big deal. Yeah, about 18,100 cars is what went through.
Awesome.
Good job.
Next year, let's put a membership sign-up booth for the Pit City.
I love it.
Yeah, 2 for 1. 2 for 1.
Scan this. Boom.
Mayor, just a couple of other quick follow-up items. I sit on the IRMA board for Spanish Fork City, and IRMA is an organization, of course, that is our risk management, our insurance company. We had a meeting in December, and our insurance rates, some insurance rates are softening, which means they're coming down or flattening out, and that's good. We've been in the last 3 or 4 years of a hard insurance market. But maybe most importantly, this legislative session, we need to keep our eyes on and communicate with our legislators on an issue involving the governmental immunity for our emergency medical folks. As they respond, there was some erosion to whether or not when they're doing what they're doing, if they have immunity in that critical service, which is basically a hallmark of you have to provide this service, and in doing so, there are some immunities that are granted, and that being eliminated really puts us at a high exposure. And so we'll be watching that, and I'll let you know when a bill about that gets numbered, and then we can communicate with our legislators about that. About 3 years ago, as an organization, we decided to hire an in-house attorney and somebody that IRMA could use to help cities with litigation at an in-house price. And the hope was that attorney would help with our claims, mitigation, and we, as an entity, we have reduced litigation costs across the board for all 20 cities, about 18 cities. We've reduced litigation costs by $300,000 to $400,000, which is good for all of us collectively as we own that entity. So it's definitely paying for itself, and he's been extremely effective. So wanted to give you that update. And then last of all, we've got last council meeting we had the water conservation element of the general plan. And we had some questions in that one. We've got some feedback from Councilman Marshall. We're working on that, and I don't know. We'll probably have that ready for next council meeting, maybe the one after that. But we'll meet with you specifically, I think, and make sure to go through some of those questions you have and how we've worked them in. And then we'll probably share that document out for you and then have it ready for your review and approval either at next meeting or the council meeting after that.
Perfect. Thank you, Manager Parents. Thank you. Thank you, the rest of the staff, too. Takes us to, after staff reports, consent items. There are 1, 2, 3 items on the consent agenda. Any questions about the consent items? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
I move to approve the consent items.
Motion made by Councilman Took.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Beck. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
The consent items are approved. Takes us to new business. There's A through F. I assume all of these are staying on here. Did we need to pull any from there?
I don't think so.
Okay. If not, the first one for new business is senior board appointments.
Thank you, Mayor. I apologize for not having this bio in here. We didn't get it in time to get it to you. So
It's in there.
Oh, I stand corrected. Thanks, Tara. Forget about what I just said. It is in there. None of you probably read it, though, so. Anyway, I don't know that. So we've got we're proposing to put Wayne Hurst on the Senior Advisory Board. He's actually replacing 3 guys.
Oh, wow.
And I was hoping Kevin would be here to help me with but Jerry, Dan, and Ned are the 3 guys that are going off, and that's all I know. So I apologize for that. But Wayne, let me tell you just a little bit about Wayne Hurst. He's a native Spanish Forkian, graduated from high school here in 1971. He's lived here his whole life. His family operated businesses: Hurst Ready Mix, Hurst Horse Palace. He married his sweetheart Maureen Johnson. She also is a native of Spanish Fork, and they're the parents of 6 children, and all of them live here in Utah County anyway. So that's what I have for this. I can't really answer any questions. Kevin probably knows him personally, so this is a formality for me. If you want to wait, we can wait and do that as well, but I don't know Wayne personally, so.
I know Wayne.
But the
I
committee,
can vouch for Wayne.
The committee has recommended him, and that was good enough for me. So you do know Wayne.
I know Wayne.
All right.
Grew up in next to the canyon with him and his family. Both Wayne and Maureen are awesome people, and they were down there at one of your first senior events at the Fit City Center with 268 other people.
They're ready to serve, huh?
They're ready to serve.
Yeah, they're anxious. They're anxious to be there. The committee, they've decided to reduce the numbers of people on the committee, is why they're having him replace 3 other people who have completed their terms.
Okay, Kevin sits on that board, but I would entertain a motion from one of his cohorts up here to appoint Wayne Hurst to the seniors board.
I move to approve the senior board appointment of Wayne H. Hurst.
Motion made by Councilman Marshall.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cardin. Roll call vote. Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
And Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Thank you, Wayne. You're on the senior board. Appreciate your service.
Awesome, thank you.
Next, resolution supporting America 250 Utah and recognizing and approving the Fiesta Days Executive Committee Utah 250 Community Committee. That's a mouthful.
That's a bunch, huh? Appreciate Vaughn and Emily putting some work into this. We've obviously talked about this a little bit tonight in terms of America 250. Let me just touch on a couple of highlights. I mean, it's not very long. I can read this resolution to you. whereas Governor Spencer J. Cox and the Utah State Legislature created the America 250 Utah Commission, also known as America 250 Utah, whereas the mission of America 250 Utah is to commemorate and celebrate, reflect on our nation's past, build community, and look toward the future by educating, engaging, and uniting Utahns and visitors to our state. Whereas America 250 Utah is seeking partnerships with counties and municipalities to further its mission. This partnership will be formed by creating a local committee called the Fiesta Days Executive Committee, Utah 250 Community Committee. The Fiesta Days Executive Committee, Utah 250 Community Committee will focus on important events, people, and places within Spanish Fork, Utah, to commemorate and celebrate Spanish Fork City's role in America's 250th anniversary. And whereas local projects will enhance tourism, community building, and economic development opportunities. Now therefore be it resolved by the Spanish Fork City Council as follows. Recognition of America 250 Utah, the Spanish Fork City Council hereby recognizes the Fiesta Days Executive Committee, Utah 250 Community Committee as its official committee. We'll partner with America 250 Utah. We'll support signature programs of the America 250 Utah Commission, and we'll support the Fiesta Days Executive Committee, Utah 250 Community Committee in its local efforts to educate, engage, and unify Utahns and our visitors in Spanish Fork City. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon passage. If you'll indulge me a personal moment, 2 days ago I was standing with my grandsons at the Arlington Cemetery and the rolling hills of the Arlington Cemetery. We spent a couple days in Washington, D.C., and of course this is plastered all over, and so they're asking questions about it, and we went and showed them the Declaration of Independence, and it's fun to help them see that stuff come to life and places where these things actually happened. But it's very moving to sit and ponder and think about what sacrifices have been made for this great country. And as many challenges and troubles that we have in our country, it's still the greatest country in the world. And this land was preserved. And I couldn't help but reflect, and my heart was full of gratitude for the many freedoms that we enjoy, and helping them understand that those came with a cost. They weren't free. Somebody paid a price for them, and we get to be the recipients of the freedoms that they provided for us. And so I'm totally excited for us to be involved in this celebration of our country and its independence. And our executive committee of Fiesta Days is the perfect people to be able to take this on and include this as part of our celebration. Certainly happy, was hoping these young people would stick around, but I'm certainly happy to work with them and include them in this part of our celebration too. I think it would add to what we're celebrating. Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate you reading that, and appreciate the personal touch to it as well. This is a resolution that needs to be passed by the City Council. If anybody is so inclined to make a motion, I would entertain that motion.
I move to approve the resolution supporting America 250 Utah and recognizing and approving the Fiesta Days Executive Committee, Utah 250 Community Committee.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cardin, second by Councilwoman Beck. A roll call vote. Councilman Marshall?
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck?
Yes.
Councilman Cardin?
Yes.
And Councilman Took?
Yes.
Perfect. That is approved. And awesome. That's going to be such a cool thing to see Spanish Fork teamed up with the state. No better examples of what freedom is than a community like this and a state like this. So very good stuff. Okay, item C is January 6, 2026, Agriculture Protection Area Removal Petition. A couple petitions. David?
Yes, this is pretty straightforward. Staff received petitions for 9 properties that are currently in agriculture protection areas. Two of the property owners are associated with the Stewart Farms as well as the Swenson annexations that were approved and recorded last year. So we're just going through the necessary process before the petitions are submitted to the state for the final approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Tyler, I think it's the others.
Oh,
was it?
Yep.
These are, as I clicked on it, these are 9 different pieces. Is that right?
Yeah. So the one on the top right, there's 2 parcels there, and then around the airport, there are, I believe, 5.
Okay.
5 or 6. So.
Okay. These landowners requesting to remove from ag protection just need that motion here, that approval here.
Correct.
Okay.
And we've got a proposed motion on the next slide if you'd like.
Any questions from the council on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion that's proposed up there.
So that's different than what's in our packet. Is that okay? Is that what we want to be? Is that the language you want?
Just for your reference, I did copy that from the minutes from the previous petitions that were removed last year. But
Go with this one? All right. I move to grant the associated petitions for removal of land from the ag protection areas.
Motion made by Councilman Marshall.
Second.
Second by Councilman Took. A roll call vote here. Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
And Councilman Took.
Yes.
Item
Mayor?
C.
Can I point out something real quick, Mayor, if you wouldn't mind?
You bet.
We had a conversation, I don't know, several months ago about putting land into an APA that took dang near all night with a lot of concern about the ramifications of doing so. It took us less than 5 minutes to take them out. So just to be aware that it's not a difficult process to reverse that decision. So I think it's important to point out that while it's important that we discuss and debate on whether or not people should or the land should go into it, there is a very easy step to get out of it. So, and this is the first time we've had the opportunity to remove something or recommend the removal of it. And I think it's good to point out that it's that simple, that we were able to provide some protection and at the landowner's request, remove them from such. So
I think these were probably just in the geographical area where these are at. They weren't asked to be in Spanish Forks ag protection.
Sure.
But they're in county ag protection.
Same.
Then they request to be annexed into Spanish Fork, and part of that process, they want to do something different.
Sure, absolutely. I agree with it completely, and they should have. But my point is, it is that easy to get in and out of it, or to get out of it anyway.
Yeah.
We made it very difficult to get in, and it turns out that it wasn't that hard to get out.
Yeah.
We had a lot of discussion about what if someone ever wanted to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. It's probably just as much discussion about creating an ag protection area in Spanish Fork. I think we had a lot of discussion about that.
We did.
Not every city has that, but I think that was the right move to have ag protection in Spanish Fork too. So yeah, this is good. Landowners wanting to do what they want with their ground, and these are landowners that are wanting to do that, and it should be an easy process.
It should, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, takes us to item D, Airport Electrical Vault Bid Award and Budget Revision. Mr. Corey Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is just an overview of the south side of the runway, that entrance on the south side. You can see that blow-up image. We're talking about 2 buildings in the area. The smaller building is the airport manager's office. It was used for years, as well as it houses, thank you, Tyler, houses the electrical equipment that runs the lights on the runway and taxiway. The larger building is a new FBO building that is being constructed and getting closer to finishing by Utah Aviation. you can see here from on site, that back portion of the old building, kind of lean-to built, is where the equipment is housed. It's very old and been a challenge. And so as the new building, FBO building, was being built and contemplated, in that lease agreement, there is a portion that was built for an electrical area to move this equipment into the new building and provide a better system overall. Excuse me, that jumped twice. Original budget was planned to be $95,000. That's what was in there based on some assumptions from the engineers. And that assumed moving the existing equipment into the new building. And so all the work associated with that, but no new equipment. As we progressed the design and got electrical engineers, contractors involved, they said, you know, this is really old and it's not going to be reliable. It's a single-phase system, and we should really move it to a three-phase system to be more efficient and better longevity. And so it was bid out that way and came in at 3.5 times as much, $325,000. We've spent several months working on that. How do we work through this? Can we give the old building a facelift and keep the equipment where it is for now, knowing the limited budget at the airport? Can we move portions, replace portions? In this time, the last few months as we've been working through it, the equipment started failing. So today, the taxiway lights are turned on by a switch. So employees, when they leave and it gets dark, they flip a switch on. And when they come in the morning and the sun comes up, they flip the switch off. It's no longer operating today by the airport or the aircraft users turning them on and off when they're needed. And so there's concerns with burning out the bulbs and equipment and just further degrading the equipment down there. Another issue today that needs to be fixed as part of this, the radio antenna that sends weather updates to the planes flying around. If you're south of the airport, it's blocked today, and that's a safety concern and something that really has made this project become a #1 priority to the airport and the airport users. So with that, as we looked at the budget and what can we do, the current budget included a $500,000 loan from the general fund, and that was to help spur some of the projects as we try to get user rates in line and as more hangars are built to generate more income. That loan was targeted for some improvements along 700 West as that area develops west of the airport. Some of those frontage improvements need to be improved by the airport, as well as rebuilding the parking lot. If you've been in the airport recently in that entrance, parking lot's getting pretty rough. It functions, but it's kind of getting past the easy maintenance. So as we've looked at that and realigned our priorities, our proposal would be to postpone the parking lot improvements so that we can fix this electrical and probably a bigger safety issue at the airport. So that being said, that would be our recommendation. Because the project is well over budget, it's something the City Council needs to approve to award the project. And we're asking that you would do that, or proposing that you would do that, as well as adjust, the budget to include those extra funds and using some of that loan money. So, any questions, or Seth, do you want to fill any gaps in here?
Yeah, just we would formally take care of that at a future revision. The fund has the money. The airport fund has the money to do this. It will, however, delay a different capital project. Specifically, right now, we would propose that it be a rebuild of a parking lot. But Corey and Christian are working on that as well. But it has the funds to do the project. Would pull it from the fund balance, but it will likely delay a project a year or two as we work to replenish the revenues there to pick up the other project.
Thank you.
Airport Board.
I'll pipe in. Jesse and I actually went down there in December and walked around. I mean, it looks horrible, the building, but that's not the reason we're doing it. I mean, the safety, I think, is most.
The safety and the electrical is the priority. That is the last remaining item that is keeping the building as it sits today there.
Yeah.
And so with this, we can remove it, which is a benefit to the aesthetics of it, but the necessary part is the equipment.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm obviously in full support of this.
Yep. Safety is important down there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's an interesting, Corey, the way you put this all together. Like, it's not the scope it's not the $95,000 scope at all.
No.
Right? It's not even the same project. It's a completely different thing. It's solving a similar problem, but it's a completely different way of doing it. Had it been this scope when we approved the overall budget, we wouldn't be having this conversation tonight because your engineer's estimate is close to what you're actually going to pay. Right?
Yes.
It's within 10%, and so we wouldn't have this conversation. I think it's really important for citizens at home to look at this and not say it's 3.5 times more. It is we're comparing apples to oranges there. It's a different project. We rescoped it to have a better end result, and that scope costs this much money. We have 4 independent bids. They're all similar. We have an engineer's estimate that's very close to this. So I think it's really incumbent on us to make sure that we articulate that we're not overrunning a project by 3.5 times. It's a different project. So,
yeah, this scope is all new equipment.
Yeah, it's
and much better equipment that's going to last a long time versus just moving and I would say putting a Band-Aid
right
on things.
Yep. Just the way the process worked was you started with 95. You do your, we approved that overall budget in the line item things, and now we're here tonight. But it's just end of the day. The citizens at home just know that this is not what we approved in the original budget. It's a different project, and we feel like this project is the right thing to do, and it costs $325,000.
Correct.
So I'm supportive as well. After all that soapbox.
I think you made a really good point, so thanks for bringing that out.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, Corey. If there's no other questions for Corey on it, I would entertain a motion for item D.
I move to approve the Spanish Fork Airport Electrical Vault Bid Award and Budget Revision.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cardin and second by Councilman Marshall. Roll call vote here. Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
And Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
D is approved. Takes us to 300 East Corridor Preservation Purchase Agreement.
So this previous year, staff working with MAG staff added 300 East to the regional transportation plan. Recognizing that as a regional route, on the left there you can see MAG's corridor preservation map that allows funds from MAG to be used to set aside corridor areas for these future roads. On the right is our master plan that kind of designates a concept of where that road may or go. There's a lot of studies before things happen, certainly on the southern end of that. But the idea is 300 East continues off of the hill down into the river bottoms, and someday, quite a ways down the road, could connect and be a larger regional corridor. That being said, having it on MAG opened up an opportunity to have some funds to purchase this property you see outlined in red. There's 2 houses on it today. Had a willing seller that has really made some efforts to look at what development potential is there for this property. And with the roadways of Volunteer Drive coming through on that east-west and the River Bottoms Road, it just made it really challenging for them, as well as this future 300 East corridor. So we had a willing seller. We went to MAG, who approved the use of the funds to purchase that property. It'll preserve the right-of-way for future, and with the development going on now and Volunteer Drive extending, this provides the ability to really fix that intersection. That intersection there with Bradford Lane and River Bottoms Road is a skewed intersection. Sight triangles are horrible and really a safety problem. And certainly as we develop more land in the area and traffic increases, that gets really concerning. So this is a great opportunity to adjust some things in that intersection. This gives us the right of way to do it right, as well as accommodate the future plan for widening when that's needed down the road. I think that might be it, Tyler. Is that the last slide, or did my clicker quit?
That's it.
Okay. So that's a proposal. There's a purchase contract attached here. This all operates through Spanish Fork City, but it's funded by MAG. You'll probably recognize there's going to be excess land from what the roadway will need. The way that works, once we have the project fully designed and we know the exact right-of-way, any excess land could be sold or used in a different way. We're starting discussions with the developers of the Annie's Acre project to the south, rather than having a parcel that can't really be developed into much that becomes just a derelict parcel. Our hopes are to negotiate with them, selling the excess to them so they can incorporate and just clean up the whole area. And then those funds, anything that could be recouped, would go back into MAG's fund to purchase more.
Do we have to repay the 1.4?
No, we don't have to repay.
This is not the revolving fund?
No, there's no repayment, just corridor preservation funds.
But if the excess sells, that goes back to the fund.
Any excess goes back, yes.
Okay.
But
You know where we're at on that map, Councilman Cardin?
Yep.
Good.
Right across the street from the Fit City Center. Back a little bit.
And back a little bit. That's
Back
right.
a little bit.
Pretty
And
close.
around the corner
Center of
and
the
over
universe.
It's become
That's
a
where we
landmark.
reference
the
all
hill.
things from.
Through the woods.
News Center in Maine.
Stacy's house, right down that way.
Next to Bottom Road. I got it. I didn't need him to zoom out.
Okay. If there's no other questions for Corey on this, I'd entertain a motion for 300 East Corridor Preservation Purchase Agreement.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Beck.
Second.
Second by Councilman Took. A roll call vote here. Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
E is approved. Takes us to F, Ponyfield Light Project.
This could have been a night where we had you vote. 4 of us.
It's true. You could.
Yeah, we're doing it now.
Well, you could. I've hit one.
This is going to be the time.
of the Ponyfield.
There is no way.
Shane has not. Let's put that on the record.
Okay.
It was the Ponyfield, and I was hitting from shortstop.
Okay, that's okay.
He was
I feel better.
also 35.
Ponyfield's legit. It's not easy to hit one out of the Ponyfield.
Legit.
Especially when you're 13, huh?
That's right.
We're in the process of continuing our renovation of the lighting systems at Swenson Ballpark. Our current project is the Ponyfield. What you have before you is a bid from 2 companies that both are on the state bid. Our budget was $200,000 for this project. When we got into it, so we had the fireman field, which we did already. These LED lights, we retrofitted them on existing poles. Found out that created some horrible visual obstructions because the lights were so bright because they're down lower than they were great with these old halogen lights that I played on, and that means they're really old. But you get these new LEDs and they're very bright. So when we got down there, we made the decision that we needed to put in new 70-foot poles instead of 50-foot poles that are existing on the Ponyfield, and that's the difference for from the cost from our original budget. So we're looking to award BW Line Construction, which is Quantum Lighting, Their bid is $286,480. That also includes a meter installation. We would like to be able to give them a notice to proceed. The other Musco lighting was $313,542. Anyway, that's it. Any questions?
Questions for Dale on the Ponyfield lighting?
We want them to be able to see.
We want them to be able to see. It's important down there.
Again, this is very similar to Corey's item where it's not a cost overrun, it's a scope change, which resulted in a different project being bid. So you overrun the project budget. So
right.
It's interesting that I guess this is the process, but we could potentially avoid the I don't know what the right word is, overreaction to blowing a budget.
Perception.
Yeah, perception maybe of 2 city council meetings ago. We needed to change the scope for X, Y, and Z. We're going to bid this out, and now we move on from the bid because it's not a budget problem. It's a scope change to address the problem in the correct way, and you oftentimes are not going to know that at the beginning of a project. Scopes change all the time. And I think having a good rationale behind the scope change, and in both cases we have them, leads you to a low bid of this. And so I'm not worried about the money at all. I'm just worried about, not even worried about the process necessarily, but it's, just like it's twice tonight where it sounds like we are spending more than we wanted, but in reality, we're addressing the problem in the more appropriate way in both instances. So.
Yeah, I think you raised good questions, and I think you're asking. I think the concern you're expressing is an important one for us to understand and deal with. I don't think that both of these will result in the budget needing to be changed. I think the airport one probably, but I don't know that this one will. However, the way that our budget works, I won't know that until June, right. Which is too late to say, oh, hey, by the way, we did this in January. Can I have that permission, right? So in light of that, it's, hey, well, let's make sure that you know about it. But I don't think it will cause a budget overrun. But we will use funds probably differently than we...
Absolutely. And I think in both instances, I think we didn't talk about that. There's a total amount of money the city has to spend. Yeah. We're not going to exceed that. Yeah. We won't do something in lieu of doing this, right? So I think that's important. We're not adding to the budget. We're taking it from somewhere else, if in fact we need to in June.
But if come the end of the year and we do a budget revision and in the airport fund, you can see that different. You'll say, oh yeah, we talked about that in January, and it's not kind of a, oh, what did you do, right? But yeah, I think you raised the right thought there, and we can adjust how we address that. I think to make it more clear, scope change. As we got into it, we were talking earlier in work session about a scope change on the Willie Barn, which is very similar to that. Yep. And a lot of times in our projects, as we get into it, from the outside, you think it's this way. You dig into the bones of the project, and you're like, oh, well, it's a lot different than I thought, and the changes occur.
And we only talk about the project at that first point where we don't know a lot about it, and things change over time. And so I think it's just important that we recognize what is actually changing. We're not blowing budgets. We're not overspending. We're solving the problem in the right way. So I appreciate this, Del. Thanks.
I appreciate the fluidity of, especially your department. It's somewhat on all departments, but this department that has an amount of money, Parks and Rec, and then says, here's an immediate need that obviously this is a safety need, that what we need to do. And so the ability to also extend the next thing that, hey, we're going to push that out a couple more years. And sorry, that's just us being fiscally responsible at taking care of the needs before maybe the wants come after. So you're good at doing that in your department too. Appreciate that. Okay, questions there? Any other questions for Dale or staff on that? If not, I'd entertain a motion for F.
I'll move to approve the Ponyfield Light project bid award and notice to proceed.
Motion made by Councilman Marshall,
Second.
second by Councilman Took. A roll call vote. Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
And Councilman Took.
Yes.
F is approved. Shane, do you want to be on record? Did you ever hit anything out on the pony field?
Probably not. I waited until I was older and hit him out of the
You were
big
too
park.
skinny back then. Okay, two items on the discussion agenda, A and B. South Valley Village concept is A, and B is the Stevens Hill annexation. Dave, maybe you can give me a refresher here. These discussion items, you're presenting them a little bit for the applicants that are going to come up and talk, but the time, we're trying to stick to 10 and 5 or 10 and 10. I can't remember what we discussed.
10 and 5 is what I thought.
I don't know that we landed on anything real specific.
I think we've blown up every time we've tried to talk about it.
that's maybe what I remember the most.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we said.
Okay.
If I take 5 minutes to introduce both of them,
we're not counting you.
That'll be more than enough time for me, and then.
Okay. All right.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Great. South Valley Village. This is a project that has it's evolved over the past several years. We've been talking about it for some time. A few months ago, the applicants presented a concept plan, kind of form, scale, level of detail, and that type of thing. I think you'll likely remember it. It wasn't that long ago. And this is an updated version of that. They asked for additional time with the council, and we were able to present the updated version to the Development Review Committee. I'm just going to go over some of the higher level comments that the DRC provided, and then I think that'll be it for me. I'd be happy to answer any questions that any of you have as I go through this. But again, I'm trying to keep this pretty high level. And I'll mention as well that we had one last 2025 Development Review Committee meeting, and we kind of rushed getting this on that agenda in order to have it reviewed by the DRC before tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's still some other comments that staff has generated, but again, I think I'll touch on all of the highlights. But we have a quick overview. The subject properties are located just southeast of where the new interchange is being constructed, 2700 North, Canyon Creek Parkway. It kind of borders the project area, at least the future alignment on the southeast side of a number of different properties that are included in the proposed development. The development now includes a combination of apartments, condominiums, and townhomes. And the areas that are identified in blue there are intended to be developed non-residentially. So one of the things that the council expressed the last time this was presented to the council was the desire to have the commercial areas that were included in the previous version expanded, and I believe the applicants have done that. Tyler, if you can go to the next slide. So this map now is oriented a little bit differently, where north is up on the map there. Just to point this out as a matter,
oriented correctly now, so thank you. I appreciate it.
This is
right, Corey? North is up.
I see it the same way. Yeah, I think
goodness,
a lot of us do.
This the whole time.
And it is just kind of by way of matter of fact, and I think the applicants do have still an active annexation application but that would be part ultimately of having a project approved here, would be having the area that is at least generally outlined in yellow there, shaded with yellow, annexed into Spanish Fork. Still part of it is in Utah County. Go next, Tyler. By way of some of the things that right now we have identified as needing to be addressed on subsequent versions to have it conform to the city's typical requirements, having enough parking spaces, things like garages, and there is a feeling on staff's part that the parking should be rearranged to just simply make it more usable for residents of the development. Go next, Tyler. The Transportation Master Plan, I think, probably would need to be amended to accommodate this particular layout. I don't believe that that necessarily is a problem, but our engineering department did express that this layout does not match a Chapel Drive to the new Canyon Creek Parkway alignment. Again, I'd call that almost a housekeeping thing, but that was something that came up in the DRC meeting. Go next, Tyler. Private streets, one thing that has been a fairly consistent goal of Spanish Fork in recent years has been to not have private streets, to have only public streets, and in certain areas what we would simply call driveways, to access relatively small numbers of units, and the inclusion of what certainly looked to be private streets on a pretty big scale in terms of length is another thing that was picked up by the Development Review Committee. Go next, Tyler. Connectivity across rail lines is a real challenge in this area. And one of the things that the DRC discussed is the need to do what we can to improve connectivity. Right now, the existing Canyon Creek Parkway crosses the railroad tracks, and as proposed, that road and that alignment would remain in place, but that would be the only connection between the two different parts of the development and the rail line that, while it will be abandoned, at least we understand and are planning for it to be abandoned, we understand that there likely still will be some challenges in terms of crossing that. But again, it was expressed by the DRC that working to improve connectivity so that ultimately there would be more than one connection between those two different parts of the development should be a priority. Amenities, that's something that has been scrutinized pretty heavily with other projects that have this type of housing included in them. The yellow shading that's identified with this image here illustrates where, as represented, the key amenities in the project are located. And our zoning districts that allow for housing of this type have some fairly clear and straightforward criteria relative to the inclusion of different types of amenities, talking about everything from small playgrounds to swimming pools, clubhouses, pickleball courts, anything like that. And both a certain number of those and the scale of those that need to be included on a sliding scale that corresponds to the number of homes in a development. And that was something that, with this latest proposal, it appears needs to be modified to conform to the city's zoning criteria. I'm getting close to the end here. Parks and green space. The DRC expressed that as laid out currently, the amount of usable park space in the project, which right now we understand is identified as being entirely private, is sparse. And there were concerns expressed as well as to how usable that green space would be, understanding that there's a need for things like storm drain, detention basins in any development, including developments in this part of the community. And it's at this stage that we typically start to think about, in terms of green space, usable space, how much of that is included with things like detention basins that do impact the usability of that space. Also, our Parks and Recreation Department referenced our Parks and Recreation Master Plan and the fact that it calls for just under 5 acres of city park space for every 1,000 residents. Just given our typical persons per household and the number of homes shown on this plan, it might be close to 3,000 residents in all. And generally, we try to maintain that relationship between park space and residents when we look at projects like this. Right now, that I'm aware is not any city-owned park space designed into what we're looking at. So that'd be something that we'd want to work with the applicants to have changed. And there's also some concern about having all of the park space on one side of the tracks or the other, as we are concerned that that's going to continue to be something of an impediment for some time into the future. That is crossing the tracks. I think I have one more, maybe. Yeah. I won't even go through those points there. I think that's just kind of catch-all stuff, pretty typical comments for projects that are at this stage of their design and development. And we certainly recognize as staff that this is still a project that's in fairly early stages of design, and it's very typical for there to be red line comments and different things like that that get addressed. I think it's been very rare for the City Council to be privy to a lot of the work that takes place on getting projects, the design of projects modified and updated so that when they are presented to the Planning Commission, City Council, they conform to city requirements. And I think you're most familiar with us presenting projects to you with recommendations for approval because they do conform to city requirements. And we'd certainly expect that we can get to that point with any project and working with applicants that are eager to put together proposals that can be approved. So I might have taken a little more than 5 minutes there. Hopefully not much. Sorry.
We didn't time you. Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave before the applicant come up? Okay. If the applicant's here, would like to come up and present this for a little bit, and then if we have some questions after, we'll ask them.
Yeah. Mayor, I want to move that only Kevin can talk. He's been here all night. These other four guys roll in.
Put in the time. He's put in the hour. Yeah.
My middle name's Kevin, so we're good.
All right, we'll take it.
So yeah, I mean, like Dave said, there's pieces that we know we need to adjust from DRC. Really what we would like from this is we're trying to do our best to we've added more apartments as was suggested, more retail as was suggested. We kind of want to get the blessing on are the right things in the right areas to where we can move to that next step, start spending a bunch of money to design parks, to design different items like that will cross out a lot of those yellow marks, 7 pages, I think, of yellow marks they had. But for the most part, we're shooting for current zoning, and we know what a lot of that entails. Some of the things to get the higher density stuff, we're asking for some leeway on if this is an area that's special and we want higher density in, garages, things like that we're going to probably push back on if we want to hit those densities. But yeah, for the most part, we just want your feedback on, are these things in the right area? And again, like we had talked before, Shane, these are different types and looks and feels of units that would be a really cool neighborhood feel. And that's what our partner Homes does very, very well. And they've done up in Daybreak a lot. So we think it's going to be a really, really cool project. We know there's adjustments to be made, but we want your thoughts and I guess blessing that we've got the right things in the right areas, and if we were to go spend the money, we're not just spinning our wheels again.
Anyone?
Questions?
I have any questions?
I'll go. Way closer, way better. You're definitely heading in the right direction, Austin. I appreciate it. On the PowerPoint, I think there are a couple things that I would say I would like to see as well. More connectivity between the two pieces. And assuming that the rail goes away, then you can accommodate that. And so I think planning for that in a plan would be very good.
Are you looking for roads that just stop at the rail for now, and in one day in the future?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm totally fine with that, knowing that you can't move the rail line.
Mm-hmm.
But if it does move like it's supposed to, then let's plan on it. And then from a park perspective, I think that is probably one of the biggest things out there. We don't have a lot of access to open space out there, and accommodating that somehow in a bigger way. Those are the two things that's left for me.
Okay.
I at some point we will see what the architectural looks like throughout the whole site, and that will be important, but that can be later.
Yeah.
The first bullet is true. We would like to see, I think, collectively more density out there, because this is one chance to get more density. But I don't want it to come at a cost of a bad decision.
Yeah,
And so I think that kind of conversation is appropriate as we move forward. At what point does it become too much?
Yeah.
And too overparked because of it. So I think that's still, for me, on the table to talk about.
Yeah, that's the balance we're looking for. You talk about more park space, density goes down. You talk about going back to old parking requirements, density goes down, right? Not up. And so those are the kind of trade-offs we're looking for. So that's good feedback.
What is your opinion on garages for apartments in an area like this? Do you have any thoughts on that?
That's a good one. I would like to say garages everywhere. But my kids have lived in things like this across the country, and they don't have them, and they are very successfully, living and they're just fine. So
Shane, maybe I can push back on you just slightly. 'Cause
Yeah.
if that's the opinion, then we need to re-look at R4 zoning in general.
Sure.
Because the way R4 zone is written calls for that, because that's why that's being asked for, right? Because that's where I think my biggest difficulty with this is, like, just in all, is just having worked through the R4 zoning and having our first projects that have kind of come to fruition with the R4 zoning. This is pretty far off, at least from this, just what I'm seeing.
So we've been told.
Hold on one second.
Okay, go ahead.
The housing on public roads, right? Like, that's a big part of the R4 zoning. Parking behind the buildings, that's a big part of R4 zoning. Amenities centralized, the 60%, I can't remember what the number is. I have it up, but I'm not going to pull it back where I was looking at it. A lot of those things are not here. And so I don't know if we're having the right conversation. We all want this to be developed at higher density and a good project, right? Like, I think we've talked about that. We've had those conversations. But the question might be is, do we need a different type of zoning for this area? Is there something else we need to be doing? Because it doesn't really fit a zone, at least from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. We've been told time and time again that this area is different, and that's why on an area this large, I don't think any density that high on average has ever been pushed. And so we are asking for a few exceptions to try to hit that higher density across, because you're getting a blended density across some lower dense areas, right? And then you've got parks, and then you've got additional parking and roadways. So yeah, I think it is unique, and perhaps there's a case for some exceptions to be made, just because we are trying to hit that density that you guys want with the types of products that we can do there.
That didn't feel like a lot of pushback on me, but I appreciate you trying.
Well, what's the pushback is that, like, I don't know that it fits in that zoning.
I agree with you 100% there.
I think the question we're having is a little bit cart before the horse in some ways, is because I think that we have to, like, if this is what you're wanting to do with this area, then I think we need to be having a different conversation in, do we need a different type of zoning product? And then that becomes a different conversation up here, because is that something that we want in the city?
Sure.
Like, I think those are different conversations than, hey, does this fit?
I don't know that they're different. I think they're a continuation of it. In my mind, this is pretty unique. I mean, there's one more place in the city potentially that could look like this, maybe, but we want more commercial to South End than we want this. And so this is a shot right now. Potentially on the west side of I-15, maybe you have another unique opportunity to put something like this. But this is, I think we get, if we put the general rules like in the back of our mind a little bit and get this in a format we like, and then say, okay, what do we need to do from a policy perspective to accommodate it, and are we willing to do it then I think we can get someplace. So to me, it's a continuation of the conversation, Jesse, more so than let's stop and change the policy and then move forward again. Vaughn may have a problem with that, and I get why he would, but I would rather see a good dialogue about what we want to get here. And I think this is our third or fourth time, and I think we're getting better and better every time, and you guys are getting more of a flavor of what we want. And I don't want our existing, this is so not me, but I don't want our existing policies to get in the way of the right thing to do out here. If we can tweak them, if we need to tweak them to make it work, then we should. I think we should.
I think it's hard to say at this point in the process because we don't know what exactly is being, like, I don't know. Again, I'm just using parking as an example. We know we've talked about parking quite a bit in this area, but parking, like, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know what those are going to look like. And then what are we looking at from a, I don't know what you said. You said bending. I don't know if that's the word you used. Twisting. Whatever you said.
Whatever.
Massaging the zoning. But I don't know if we can.
I hope I didn't say twerking.
Tweaking, I think was
tweaking.
Wrong middle letters.
But I think we have to figure out, like, what is it that we're looking to make those exceptions on before we can really have that conversation. And so that's a hard conversation to have.
I get where you're coming from. Half of the problem is, though, we don't know what it looks like because we don't know what it looks like. And so what are we trying to change? And I think these folks are trying to bring us something that we can say, oh yes, now we see it when we see it. And I don't know how to get to the policy change before we see something we like.
Yeah.
Page there. You spend all that money. If you talk to Mike Schultz, the state people give it to you. It's what? It's for more density there. You got a track stop coming just north of it, so you've got people you're wanting to use tracks, so they don't have 2 cars or 3 cars. That's the purpose behind it. I mean, that's the movement we're going for. The good old.
And I think one other thing is, I mean, we're asking. I think
I love
right
when
now
tape pushes you out of the way. It's my favorite part of the night.
This is our relationship, but I mean, we're not actually like for garages. Yes, that's an exception, right? But like as far as parking, I think we're at 2.25 versus 2.5. So it's not like we're like down to 1.5. We're not asking for these crazy exceptions. Like, you know, as far as street facing on this plan, I think the apartments on that one, like the one side it fits. The other side, I think we're at like instead of 80% street facing, I think we're at like 70% street facing. So, I mean, we're not talking like these huge variances, and that's where we want to see and kind of get your guys' flavor, because obviously when we go submit a preliminary plat, it's going to come back with all these red lines, right? We know how this goes. So it's like, would you guys be willing to, through a development agreement, make some of these exceptions for this area, or is this going to be like a complete, you know, rework? That's kind of, it's tricky, and we know, right? And that's why we want to have these conversations now, rather than submit it. Staff says you're never going to get in front of council again because you have 6 million red lines, right? That's kind of what we're trying to work with them. Sorry for pushing you.
No, it's okay.
Just hit him harder next time.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know, some of you, we've been doing this 4 years. We've done a bunch of traffic studies. We've been back time and time again with all of the different reasons in many different shapes and sizes. We had all towns that fit parking perfectly at one point. You want higher density, let's get higher density. We just gotta find something that works for you and make it work to spread across the site. And I think some little pockets need some variances, but across the site we're, like Tate said, we're not off. We're really not.
And maybe something else that makes this a little bit more appealing for us is like the townhomes right now are 2 code, right? Can we go forward knowing that we've reserved these phases for high density? We have a few things to work through that might take a little bit longer, but instead of delaying A to Z, you know, we're saying,
a development agreement that puts some.
Yeah, we've designated that these are going to be the high density areas that we have some working through. We know generally what they look like, but let's not at this point say you need to bring us the entire preliminary plat at day one. I mean, something like that could definitely help, right? Where we break it down into phases and do a development agreement, right?
Yeah, I do think that's been an issue over the last years, is trying to do so much at once. Like to Tate's point, if we could split off some of those pockets that will have the variances and say, okay, we know we're trying to hit these densities, but let's go forward on the stuff we can, and we can kind of get this ball rolling and figure that out as we go would be an incredible way to do it, I think, because trying to bite off so much at once has just kind of been a lot of back and forth. And
it's a catch-22 for us and for you, right? I mean, you could have done it 5 acres at a time. It would not have all come together in a way that we would like it, but you could have done it. So we asking you to do big. I know. That's what I'm saying. You're in a dilemma, and we're in a dilemma on the same side. I think we're progressing in the right direction. I think you're going to have several different opinions that you're going to have to work through, right? Mm-hmm. And like Mike likes to say, you need 3 votes. But it's, to me, number one, this needs to almost be a standalone community.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Entirely.
There is very little connection to other neighborhoods within our community for this.
Yeah.
And so you got to make it something that is viable by itself, and it doesn't turn into something that we're not comfortable with. And every time you bring us a map, that concept gets better and better and better for me.
Yeah, we're trying.
I think you have some work to do, and I think Jesse has pointed out some stuff that makes a ton of sense. If we can make that first concept work, I'm not so worried about 2.55 versus 2.25 or 80% versus 75%. Like those things, I'm not going to get hung about if the rest of it can come together as a community.
Yeah, okay.
And I just have one more comment to add, and then I think I'm done.
Yeah, go ahead.
To Shane's point, the standalone community, at this point, if that's what we're going for, I think we're pretty far off from that.
Okay.
In my opinion. So that's just me. So again, just one of the 3 votes you're trying to get, I guess.
What's the number one reason behind that?
Because I feel like 1 is the green space, 2 is parking, and 3 is where the commercial's at.
The commercial's at?
I don't love I just don't love the orientation of it. I'm not saying that it's the right or wrong. I don't know what you have. If you have,
Sorry, I think last time we did this kind of 2 pockets because of comment. I think if you,
I actually asked for more commercial, and I really appreciate it. I think personally, I like it. I'm curious to know what
I don't like this little pocket that's just kind of in the middle by the roundabout.
I do too. Yeah,
well, there's 2. So
yeah, it adds this.
No, I wrote down my
there.
pluses.
You're the ones that told us to
The
put 'em
commercial, I like that. And I'm glad to see that you increased the apartments. I wouldn't mind seeing more. But I will say I agree with all the staff comments on parking. Like it just seems like it's out there in such random places, and the green space, parks, and amenities.
Okay.
I think there's a lot to work through there. Like I just imagine walking through that and it just doesn't feel right yet.
Okay, but would you say, in terms of us trying to pick the places for the items, let's say the apartments in that area, the condos in that area, and then the towns, the way that it feathers up in density, is that close to what you're thinking? If we were to submit something, knowing that we have to work on the higher dense areas and how they're parked, that we're getting closer on.
Getting closer if you can figure out a lot of the parking and the green space.
Yeah, green space as well.
Those are 2 big things.
I think those are very consistent in Jesse's version of we're not very close, which I don't know that I completely disagree with Jesse on that. But the 3 things that you mentioned, I think you've heard all of us say. Green space, still parking. I'm not super sold yet. I think that's Stacy's problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
More convenience, right?
I think you're going to find more of us concerned about the location of parking than what type of parking.
Exactly. It just seems like I'm not going to park clear. I mean, I'm not going to even try to point, but.
I have a new concept already in the works on that.
Okay. Yeah, the parking makes no sense.
That actually is pretty close. I think it's just that part on the right.
Top left. The right one's tricky because you've got a power line easement.
Yep.
And so if you're going to try to get that density, you've got to put the buildings where the power line easement isn't. And so that leaves parking under that easement. So you can totally tell where that parking is going, but we'll work on those things when we come to fully submit. And I think.
Into that commercial comment, I love the bigger commercial up on top, by the way. I like that got bigger.
If you go and push your son out of the way.
I don't think it can.
Daybreak, they've done Saratoga, they've done Heber, they've done all this stuff. They've dealt with cities, they've known how to put it together. So get up there and help Austin out. Tell them what you've done in these other places. Let's solve these problems.
He's not being pushed away. That's verbal abuse right there.
Hey, I don't get between a dad and his son, so we all know our dads are our heroes, so we do what we got to do.
Can you tell me your name first?
Daniel Herzog. I'm with Homes, and we are specifically the townhome developer on this. We've done a number of other developments throughout, like Kevin mentioned, Daybreak and some of the other places. We've done condos in a lot of other places and apartments as well, but in this situation, we kind of passed on those just because we didn't want to dive into that in this area as far as the portfolio goes. What we've done in the past, and as you look at this, parking and open space is absolutely, and we won't be able to sell a single townhome if there's not good amenities and things like that. So that's definitely something we spent more time on the first verberation, and now we wanted to kind of get at least the ideas before we started getting too much in detail. But you will have, absolutely will have some great amenities. I do hear what you're saying on the parking and the with the densities up above, and as we've done that in Daybreak, we've had to, as Austin hit on it, you kind of have to find that happy medium between density, parking and open space, because they are all diametrically against each other. And usually that's been a development agreement that we've always gone for. I know that was something we've talked to with Dave, possibly doing a development agreement in this situation, but as one, it was just kind of, again, just thought, let's try the zoning as best we can and just try to fit it how we can fit it. So that would basically what Austin was saying is, if we can do that and do a development agreement, if that was something the city would love to do, we would be more than happy to do that. But the development agreement is really where you start getting the flexibility, because you're not going to find an R4 zone solution for what we're needing to do to be able to get those all to come together to provide really what your vision is. So if that's something, we'd love to be a part of it. We've drafted many of them through, like you said, Daybreak, Heber. We have some Hideout. We've done it down in Desert Color in St. George. So those are things we'd definitely be willing to work if staff and city would be willing to consider that. So, I think that's all I've got.
My comment to that is, I guess I like that you have some history with that. This area is unique. It's unique in that 230 million plus of taxpayer dollars have been spent on a new exit, and we're talking about some commercial and some residential, and trying to get as high residential as we're comfortable with as we can, and pushing these guys to be that. And it's because it's in its proximity to. It is in proximity to get people on the freeway. They're going to be citizens of our community and going to need some parks and some park space in that area, because they're going to spend a lot of time getting on and off the freeway to work and getting up to the train stop. Mm-hmm. So it's unique. I think we need to make sure that we're thinking uniquely through it. It gives me some confidence that you've drawn these up. We've been through many development agreements in the 12 years I've done this. I'm confident we can strike the right balance. I think you've heard you're moving in the right direction.
Along that same line, we're doing the same thing in Springville. They have the Lakeside Landing.
You had us until then.
And I would like to do it a lot faster than Springville if we could. Springville, definitely, I agree with you 100%.
I hope they're not watching.
Yeah, but anyways, we definitely, it's not uncommon, so we'd love to do that with you guys as well. So
thank you.
We did not do Lakeside Landing. We're trying to recreate something different than that, because that is such an interesting problem. But again, something we'd love to do.
Appreciate that. Any other questions, discussion up here?
I don't want to belabor the point, but I like the idea of a development agreement, because I think that because of the uniqueness that maybe an R4 doesn't fit, because it is so isolated and out by itself. R4 makes sense when you're R4, R1A, like when it's all in a collective neighborhood. I think you can transition some things better. But here, this is its own thing.
Well, and I think that's, ultimately was my point, like when I started the conversation, right, is that if we're talking R4, we're so far away. But if we're talking development agreement, it makes sense. It's I think we need to come to the point where it's what are we agreeing to,
sure.
Or what are we willing to give on, and it's hard to know until we kind of see some more of the final concepts, which is hard because that is real dollars being spent trying to figure that out. So it is hard, but I think that what you're hearing is some comfortability with the development agreement. It's just then getting the comfortability of what is that give and take.
As long as you guys are all on board with that idea, I mean, we're happy to start spending real dollars to get real details for you guys. It's just this, if we're not on the same page fundamentally, it gets tricky. But it sounds like, I mean, assuming Councilwoman Beck and Councilmember Took are on board with that, I mean, I think we're happy.
Definitely, and I would just echo, what's been said, but just add my 2 cents in that. Again, I appreciate the commercial ad. I think it's fantastic. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I feel like every time we meet, it gets better, and I really like that with you guys. I do feel though that parking, we need to tweak that. Still, there's work to be done there, as well with the green space parks, because Spanish Fork's just known to have great parks, and it's something that we're proud of and want to continue in this area, and especially as an isolated island, right? We need to. It's different. We have to look at it a little bit differently. But I feel like you're on the right track. The trajectory's in the right direction. Personally, that's how I feel. So,
thank you. Seth, is there development agreements and stuff that been put in place for some unique spaces? Anything you want to speak to on that?
Yeah, I do have a question I want to ask the council, but I don't want to interrupt the dialogue that you're having with the applicant. So I don't want to prematurely end that.
I think we've shut him down.
Okay. As long as Kevin has shut him down, then I guess we're okay, right? Yeah, development agreements. We've got, I don't remember how many we've done zoning by development agreement, but I want to say maybe 3 or 4. With all of them being in the last couple of years, so we're not very far along in our use of development agreement zoning, but we have done that. For us as staff, it is helpful to know, these discussions are helpful because as we're trying to interact with them and give them guidance or clarity about where to go, how far away from the ordinances that you've set for this type of zone or that type of zone, and candidly, I don't think we know. So we're kind of grasping at in the darkness, just like you might be. A question I have for you, and something as I look at this project, as we've talked about it with this group, when we were talking about this a few years ago as they started, right, the density that was proposed then was a much higher number, and it has evolved a lot since then. And one of the challenges I think that the applicant has identified today is they're having a hard time meeting your desire for more density, but with some of these requirements such as parking or parks and other things. One of the challenges that I think I'm seeing in this proposal is there's a large number of a townhome product. And I think you have a balance that you're seeing the applicant try to hit of townhomes probably are what the market is talking about today. And so they're wanting to have the product that sells today the fastest, right? But as Councilman Marshall said a moment ago, in this area, you can't build a bunch of townhomes here and then wipe them out 10 years later, and then do something else. So what you're doing once, and it's probably going to be there forever. Is a part of the discussion, or maybe the questions that you're having that I'm not sure that I'm seeing it. Is it as much the mix that you're seeing here and trying to make the pieces and parts fit with the mix that you're seeing? Or is some of the feedback that you have, would it include, I want less of this type and more of that type? And again, the applicant, I think they're telling you today that they want more townhomes than perhaps you would like to have seen, in the general plan discussions that you're having. And I don't mean to put words in their mouth, but I am kind of taking the feedback that I've had from them in the different settings that we've been in. But I think that's a question that you need to answer for them, because townhomes are more space, right? Even though they aren't a quarter-acre lot, a 4-story building that has units in it, I can get 30 units to the acre or 20 units to the acre, and a townhome at best I can get 12 or 13 or 14, right? And so the math, the parking, and other things are different if the pieces and parts are different. And if none of this is what you're talking about, then tell me no, that's not it. And I think that will be helpful for us. But if part of it is we really want to see more vertical and less of the townhome product, I think they need to know that. I think we need to know that as staff.
That's a good question. Do you guys know off the top of your head, what proportion townhomes, condos?
As far as the unit count goes, it's probably like 55 towns, 45 apartments as far as actual units go.
So is it just those two?
You're talking percent.
Yeah.
So those two products is townhomes and condos or apartments.
Yeah.
Okay.
You basically have It's called horizontal multifamily, which is townhomes.
Yeah.
And you've got stacked multifamily.
Okay,
which is-
that's helpful for me to know. I would be more than happy to go more stacked. I would like to see more stacked and not
For
so
what
many.
reason?
For the density.
But do you want a neighborhood feel, or do you want the most density? Like, there has to be a reason other than we just want to see a higher number, because that's really hard to do.
Good question.
And if that's just because you planned that some years ago and you think that's what you need, that's fine. But if it's, we want a neighborhood here that's standalone, that's cool, that's a cool vibe that stands alone,
Yeah.
that's not the right answer.
Okay, now
And so-
Mr. Mayor, I've been quiet.
Yeah.
A planning commission years ago, not that many years ago, put a lot of effort into creating a zoning option that allowed for developers to develop projects in Spanish Fork that had more than 12 units to the acre. Up until 8 or 9 years ago, that was the ceiling. And considerable effort went into making sure that when projects were proposed to the city to be approved at densities that went above 12 units to the acre, they maintained and helped to create a neighborhood feel. And it's many of the very things that were written into the R4 zone that now you're being asked to not require when this area develops, that are intended to do that. To make it so that when people go out their front door, they're at a public sidewalk. Just like me when I step off the porch of my single family home in a pretty typical suburban neighborhood, like most of us, and a number of other things that I really do take exception to the idea that density equates to a substandard kind of neighborhood environment or that type of a thing. Poor design does. And it's really, really hard to mandate good design. But there are some things that I think we've done a good job of including in the R4 zone that have worked well for the Ridgeline Apartments, the project that's by the neighborhood Walmart. Unfortunately, it looks like Modera, because of a big power line, is going to be redesigned, but another project approved, close to 20 units to the acre, where they have 2.5 parking spaces per unit, garages, frontage on public streets, different things like that. So I really do appreciate the effort that Austin and his team are putting into this, but I think there's a fundamental difference of perspective in terms of what meeting the city's requirements means, ultimately for the people that will live there. So, sorry for maybe the late interjection, but
one other interesting thing from our standpoint, I mean, we've designed a lot of projects like this. So our high density portion there that's on the top right, if I remember right, it's 13.5 units an acre for stacked, because you don't have a square site. When it comes to multifamily, it's really hard. You're only going to get to 20 units with the parking ratios, the garage requirements, et cetera, when you have like perfectly square and you can make it the most efficient. So, I mean, our townhomes are actually not that much less density than what we're able to fit because of the shape of it. So I think that's also an important thing to remember, is we're not just saying, hey, if we fit more apartments, we're actually, I mean, to me, that top right portion actually looks more dense. I mean, like less green space, right? And it's not actually that many more units being stacked apartments because you just have a ton of parking. So just a note to take into account is, I mean, I don't think just by putting more stacked, you're actually going to get that much more density. You're going to get more parking, and it depends what the feel you guys want, but I don't actually think it's necessarily the best look.
Do your townhome piece, does it fit the R4 zone now?
So the townhomes mostly are R3, and then we get a little bit more density up top. And there are some pockets of townhomes that would have to fit R4. Yeah. Because, I mean, R3 obviously ends at 12, right? So as a composition of the project, we're touching that R4.
So on the townhomes, we fit all the parking requirements in R4. We have 5 acres more, 5.47 acres more open space than what R4 requires. Other than it, you don't show any amenities on there, which is again something we would add. It's a great project. The townhomes is spectacular. For the odd shape, we've done a great job laying that out. The roads that were shown as private aren't actually private. It's just that this isn't a good drawing that shows the width. We had our engineer design it all with public roads, so everything fronts, everything's perfect. She's a beauty. It's a good project. But just that part.
So is this a good project, though, for this area? I think that's the question of the night, right?
And that's for these guys. I'll let them talk to it. I just want to make sure that you know that Homes, we're proud of what we've got up there, and we wanted to fit as best we could.
And even if all
appreciate
of these projects are beautiful, it still might not be the right space. So when I say I want to see more stacked apartments, just because I think that's the right space, and I don't think we need so many townhomes. I think you can fit a good community with apartments and open space and enough parking there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any other discussion up here?
Just under 15 minutes.
just
time. Out of here before 10 this time. That's great.
Well, you are.
Seth, did you get answered? You got more questions than you got answers?
I think I've asked the question. I think that
I'm the only one that answered.
so if you guys can think about it, you certainly can give us feedback. I think for us one of the solutions to the square peg in the round hole is the density in the right places, and Kevin even suggested something I think is important, that the infrastructure that's being expended, that the millions of dollars, and you said the millions of dollars for the density, like what are we looking for, and is this is the area, and once you do it, it's done. So again, that feedback is helpful for us. So as you think about it, if you have any other thoughts, just share.
I think there's some great mitigants that have been discussed in DRC and here too of some future connections when that is a trail instead of a railroad track, hopefully in the future, and some green space work there and stuff. But I think we're getting to the point where, boy, there's got to be some phases or some development agreements that make some stuff start to work out here, or else we're just going to have map after map after map and an open freeway exit, and things should be going. And so I encourage you guys to continue to do the good work you're doing. I think you're getting closer, and make a couple of tweaks here so we can have some.
Just a couple questions because the main purpose are the right things in the right places. Stacy said more stacked product. Did other council members agree with that? Is that something we should come back with? Because we are the mixed use and the feathering density we think is a better feel. But I mean, we're open to what.
And your only stacked product right now is that top by the blue?
Top left and top right, both stacked. Even though top right looks like 4 townhomes, it's 4 stories high. In the curved area.
Canyon Creek Parkway.
On the
just to the bottom right of the blue. So to the left of the blue and the bottom right of the blue, both of those are 4-story stacked.
That long strip of parking is stacked.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I got you.
You're saying this? Oh, I lost it. Am I up or down? This is apartments.
Yep, that's 4-story stacked.
And then apartments to the left, up and to the left.
Yep.
And everything else is townhomes? Yep, that's way too many townhomes for me. For this area. In other parts of our city, I would be like, yep, let's go forward with this, 100%, but not for here.
So you want a 3rd apartment project is what you'd suggest? Or 4?
A 3rd? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so there's 2 right now. You're not going to get much bigger than like a 10-acre
with
apartment
a lot of
project.
the townhomes being 3-story and kind of looking like, I mean, they have mass to them, right? It's not like they're these little.
No, it's not the look, it's how many people are there. It's that we have one chance to get a lot of people in these spaces.
Yeah, keep in mind, Tate made a great point. The odd shape of these with that
Right.
parking makes it,
So
it's
our
not really.
apartments are 2-bedroom. So if you talk about, I mean, it's mostly 2 inhabitants, right? It's a lot of young married couples that are going to be in those. If you're actually talking about people, I mean, I honestly think this plan maximizes the amount of people because the apartments are going to be.
No, that's
That's
my opinion. I don't know what.
Yeah,
That's a
I'm
good
just,
point.
yeah,
No,
it's
Your apartment's two people without kids maybe and traveling to work and working at the hospital, and then your townhomes might be two.
And
two
the
parents,
density's
two
not that
kids.
much different with these shapes in the parking. Like Tate said, if it's perfectly square, it's much easier to get to like a 20.
Sure.
But with these, what we got is what we got, right? You've got corners, you've got curves, and so we're trying. So it's not much more dense, but we hear you. So it's something. we
I
do.
recognize the big job you guys have.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thanks.
you.
Guys.
Thanks for bringing this tonight. Thanks for the discussion.
I don't know that this is a good idea, but consider moving the road. I mean, I don't know if that opens it up, but that road, it's just a ribbon road. And it's just right of way and you can shift it around. But if that helps you envision it differently as you're trying to solve some of your
We looked
your
at that
things.
about three years back, and
Yeah.
it makes it so that we just have a lot of unusable space on one side. But yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's just a ribbon road. It's not fully developed, right? So I don't know. I don't think there's any utilities underneath it either. Maybe there are.
Okay, thank you. That was, we exceeded the time that we set there, but that's a good discussion.
I think we did, absolutely, but I think that it saved them some time and us a future conversation. So I think, I really appreciate that we're doing this now. I don't really, it's 15 minutes, it's 20 minutes, it's an hour. We're getting better results because of it. At the very least, we're showing the public we're talking about hard issues in public, transparently. Like, this is not easy. They have a hard job.
I think
This area is tough.
it's been said, but it should be pointed out. This area is just unique. It's unique. It's not the perfect farm field that is going to go next on the east side of town or the west side of town. It's not square, and so we appreciate you undertaking where this is geographically and its constraints too. And that is, to your point, that's why we're discussing it more than we have before. So we appreciate that. Okay, Mr. David, on to the next one.
Ready when you are.
Okay, Stevens Hill annexation.
It's been a number of months on this one as well since we last had a conversation with the city council. It was shortly after, I believe, the council accepted the Stevens Hill annexation for further study. The process for annexations sometimes is slow, and just by way of some timing requirements, it takes some time. But relative to time, the area that is shaded in yellow on this map, which is west of the Spanish Fork Airport, it's ready to move forward. It's ready to be presented to the Planning Commission for their recommendation, particularly on zoning, and it's ready for us to schedule a public hearing with the City Council to decide whether or not you want to approve it or not. And there is a key issue that we have discussed once before with the council that relates to power and SESD. And that leads to a question about property owners who have either said they don't want to be included in the annexation, or who at least are passive enough to have not signed a petition to indicate that they want to be annexed. There are a few of those. Tyler, if you can go to the next slide. So this is the same area, zoomed in just a little bit. Everything in the green and the yellow there is included in the proposed annexation. You can see that on the north end, we have some properties shaded in yellow and one closer to the south end of the annexation area. And this is something that we talked with the council about a number of months ago, and we didn't get clear direction at that time from the council, which frankly I think that was appropriate. But the council collectively, I would say, expressed an open-mindedness about potentially, and this is a rough word to use, I've thought about maybe trying to say it differently, but I think it's appropriate, potentially forcing people to be included in the annexation whether they want to be or not. And that's the real question that we have for the council tonight. And I'll explain why it's a question that we'd like to get some direction on. But the properties shaded in yellow there, they have not indicated that they want to be included in the annexation. Not including them in the annexation is expensive, would be expensive, ultimately for at least potentially Spanish Fork City. Next slide, Tyler. Last slide, by the way, so this is it. If, and I'll say it this way, we are obligated to pay the Strawberry Electric Service District a certain amount of money when their customers annex into Spanish Fork and they're switched over to Spanish Fork City Power. Because of the number of customers in the proposed annexation area, that will cost $238,000. Would cost $238,000 if this annexation is approved. That's just a matter of fact. Spanish Fork City has a mechanism to recoup that, ultimately when properties develop. But that's a cost. Now, if
Let me pause you right there. Generally, that cost buys the poles, the wires, and all of the infrastructure associated with that annexation. So it's not a sunk cost, but we would spend $238,000, and in return for that, we would typically get the poles, the wires, meters, etc., to be able to just connect our system to what was their system and begin serving. Keep going.
you might be able to do a better job than me.
I like where you're headed. I can color commentate.
Okay. And set the stage really, really well. If the properties that are in yellow are not included in the annexation, then Spanish Fork City, with the annexation of the other properties, assumes the obligation to provide power to those properties. And SESD would continue to serve their customers that are not annexed. And in this case, that would necessitate the construction of redundant, duplicate infrastructure in the area that would cost another $250,000. So that is the expense that somebody, I think Spanish Fork City, likely would bear if the annexation were to proceed and the properties in yellow were not included. Does that make sense?
Can I clarify? The 238 will be spent no matter what.
Correct.
If the ones in yellow if they're not annexed, then it's just it's an additional 250.
Correct.
Okay.
It's an additional 250 to construct infrastructure that otherwise just simply wouldn't be needed.
Okay.
Yep. So there are poles and wires up today, and they would stay up. They would be detached from the houses that are in the city's limits, as they would come in. But those poles, all of those poles and wires would stay up and serve the end of the line in either direction, north or south from here. And then we would have, on the other side of the street, we would have to, and it might be more than that. I don't know if we have the right-of-way, so we might have to purchase right-of-way. So it might be more than the 250, but we have to build redundant infrastructure. So rather than spend the 238 that purchases all of that infrastructure, we have to purchase it, but then we don't get it, and we have to build our own.
It's probably worth noting too that the 250,000, there's not really a way to recoup that cost later. And in fact, it could be more if we need to widen a road, we might have to move that infrastructure so it's not in the road. And I mean, it just creates a lot of challenges.
Have those property owners been contacted by other property owners out there or the city at this point? Would it be a wise conversation to approach them and say, hey, this is happening, we would invite you to join?
Mr. Simpson, do you mind if, so these two gentlemen collectively, is it fair to say that you're representing this collection of, I think it's some 13 or 14 different property owners? And that.
Yeah, Mr. Simpson lives on the, just above the bottom yellow, the property adjacent to the north. Yes, we have talked to everybody. The south owner, Roach, he's not, the north owners are against. The south owner is one of the passive, I would say. We have contacted multiple times. This is actually our second application for this annexation. So we have went through great efforts to contact, to try to do our work. We've tried to purchase properties. We've tried to do a lot of different things. So they're very aware of what's going on. And at this point, I don't see their mind changing.
One of them is saying, do whatever, and the others are like, we're not wanting to be annexed.
He's not. He's a passive.
Okay.
I would say that's a good word for it. So yes, we've done everything in our power to try to convince, I guess is the right word.
So, looking to take the council's temperature on whether or not, I think you could even direct us just to maybe drop the annexation. But one of the things that we've identified as a need with the annexation is the acquisition of right-of-way for other power infrastructure. And that's something that the applicant, Mr. Simpson, has been helping us with. I think it's fair to say in terms of negotiating for the acquisition of right-of-way for infrastructure that the city needs to serve the bigger area. So, generally speaking, we would tie that type of need to some sort of annexation requirement, and I think that's what we're looking to do. If the annexation isn't ultimately going to be approved by the council, I'm struggling with this. We're not looking for you to make a decision tonight, but if you have an inclination to not approve the annexation in any form, that'd be helpful for us to hear, because then I think we just cut bait on the acquisition of the additional easements and move on. Or, I can think of other scenarios as well, obviously. Got to ask again, does that make sense?
As we've done the math and worked through the issues, in terms of keeping landowners whole, I don't know that anybody in this annexation is looking immediately to develop, although that may not be the case. I certainly don't know the circumstances of all of the landowners, but generally speaking, many of these individuals have expressed their desire to be in the city because now there are pipes in the ground that they can't connect to because they're out of our limits. But they can see the scar in the road, or they could, before we maybe paved over it, and they can't access it. So they do want access to some of or many of our utilities. We hear from some landowners in these circumstances, I don't want to be in the city because I'll lose my ability to have my agricultural zoning rights. And that's just not the case. We have an ag zone that is just the same as a county, and so we can maintain that. We hear some that say we'll lose our access to Greenbelt. That's not the case. As long as they meet the Greenbelt requirements, whether in the city or in the county, they can continue to have that. Those aren't functions of, you're in the city now, you lose that. Generally speaking, their property tax goes down when they come into our city. I say generally because I haven't looked at every one of these parcels, but usually the county has a taxing district that's greater than the city rate, and so that falls off, the city rate goes on, and their property taxes go down. generally speaking, their power bills usually go down from their current provider to us. So in all of those respects, usually their costs go down, and their usability of their land stays exactly the same. What only changes, their address doesn't even change. Maybe their street address changes, but their zip code and the name of the town on the letter stays the same. But from a staff's recommendation, we would not recommend this annexation if it doesn't terminate the power for the reasons stated. It's just not, from our perspective, it wouldn't be something we could recommend doing. And we would just say wait.
So the properties just to the west that aren't part of this are serviced from a power, their power is serviced somewhere else. Taking away all the green and converting it to Spanish Fork City Power does not affect people to the west of this.
Correct. Yeah, if I understand it right,
Strange.
a lot of those fields just simply don't have power.
Sure.
Right, and so you'd be looking for a structure, some kind of a pump house or something that might be where the power comes from.
I mean, there's an actual home
Immediately
1150 west.
Immediately west of the green?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you'd have a city pole, in relative to this map that I'm looking at, not the one behind me, you'd have an SESD pole here and a city pole there, and there wouldn't be a connection between them, and it would dead end.
Right.
And that, yeah.
So why can't that same that SDS service the three on the north end? If it can service.
Can I see this?
Yeah, it's hard to be like this, but.
Yep.
You want me as a pointer?
I will make a pointer.
But you can only see it on one side, so make sure everyone. Oh, you're gonna make it. Okay.
Yeah. So, the power comes down this road and down this way and serves them here.
Okay.
And comes down this road and serves them this way. So it tees and goes north and south.
So you dead end it.
The SESD will not terminate here if they're serving there, nor will they come through here to create a new line. They would simply say, we just won't give you.
Stop.
We won't give you our facilities because we need them to continue serving.
Sure. Okay.
So you'd be looking to dead end here or there, whichever point. Does that answer that question?
That does answer my question.
Yeah, the bottom passive one, a field, not a house. The top two appear to have residences on them in the top two yellow, right? So what changes for them? They would require to hook up to our power, but they would not be required to necessarily hook up to
some of our utilities.
Or
Yes.
some of our utilities. They keep
Yeah.
a septic tank if they
Yep.
have a septic tank.
Yeah.
But in all essence, I mean, check your power bill if you're SDSD versus that's your power rate's probably going to go down.
Our rates are less than theirs. Yep.
So,
And so today, what Dave's asking for is not for you to say, I'm all this way or that way, but if there is a no way, then we don't want to put it forward. If you're comfortable saying, you know what, I would consider it. Let's have the public hearing and continue the process. Then we will. And in the end, you can decide what you want to do. Staff's recommendation will always be, if you're not going to force them in, please don't annex the other ones because it's just expensive and redundant. But to take it to the next step, we don't want to waste your time or the applicants, and we don't want to send a signal to the residents if it's a deal breaker, right? If it's a no-go.
Yeah, I'll give I would say I would like to move forward with the recommendation because if they are anti it, I'd like to hear from them. But then I think we continue forward. That's where I would be. I'm not an absolute no.
And I like the idea of the annexation. I don't know how much I like the idea of forcing someone to come in.
Say that again, sorry.
I said I'm okay with the annexation. I don't know if I love forcing them to come in for no reason and if it's going to cost them anything. Would it cost?
it's going to decrease their costs.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Generally, it should lower their costs.
Like
Okay.
even like hooking up to our city power or anything like.
We just change over poles. We do it on our side.
We do the work.
Yeah.
We do the work. They don't.
I wonder if
pay
they would be a
different
little more
company.
susceptible if someone from the city went and chatted with them. Yeah? No?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't.
Yes.
I'm happy to go and just say, hey, let me save you some money. I can talk to people into some big things.
I'd like to hear of those 4 folks that are opposed to it or on the fence, why they don't want to. I think I'd like to hear more. But just so I understand correctly, Seth or Dave, the green homes, those ones, they all want to be annexed, correct? Is that like everybody's on board?
That's
Hey,
why, exactly. This
want the
was
utility.
initiated by them.
Everybody, okay. Yeah.
Green means go, yellow means caution in this setting.
So initiated by them, and our zoning laws do facilitate the ability to say there's enough of people, there's enough mass wanting to come in that we're going to make the other people come in. So it's not, it's the calculations are enough where you wouldn't have to split them off. Obviously, the discussion of what their wishes are and why there are, okay, that's important. I don't know that they maybe are fully understanding why or what, but
along those lines, they have rights, but the petitioners have rights too.
Correct. Yep.
And that's the balance that we've got to come up with. If if 51%, I don't know what the percentage is, wants the annexation, it's not fair for them not to have it because of the ones that don't.
Dave, will you come up to the mic, Dave?
The Audison's on the bottom. Barbara Jensen was totally against it, and since then we bought her house. So we got rid of that problem. But her brother has the yellow piece on the bottom, and there is a pump house, a well house in the back that's fed by strawberry water. So I think the bottom half, Paul Roach would, I'm not speaking for him, but Paul Roach would maybe agree to the bottom half. The 2 residents on the top is Nate Ash and Alan Hatfield. And Alan had once signed the petition and then didn't want to sign it again. So he may be on the fence line. And I wasn't able to get with him today, but I'm going to talk with him again. So it might only be Mr. Ash that is not wanting it on the far north end by the airport runway. So it's really maybe 2 people that are not really in favor of it.
I think it's important to note nobody can say that out in this area that this wasn't coming. That road has been torn up for a year and a half or more, and then re-torn up, and
And I don't think we're quite done yet.
and you're not quite done yet. You're going to tear it up more. There is public infrastructure in that north-south road to the tunes of millions and millions of dollars, and it's not to feed, it's to feed the people that now want to hook up to it and north of here and further up here. So to abandon over a couple of properties that aren't going to be injured by being annexed into Spanish Fork City, going to keep the same address, pay less.
And possibly injuring the ones that do want to.
And injuring other people in the trade-off. You'd be looking at a serious abandonment of utilities that we've already spent in that road there, going north, connecting to a lot of their stuff.
Is there a road plan through here? What does that look like? If you were to lay it on there.
Let me see if I can make my laser other than red. I don't even know how to see it now.
I believe it's to the west of there, right?
Yeah. So there is a north-south road that's going to come somewhere in this area, right, Corey? Somewhere in this area.
I think Dave's going to try to come help.
And then it will go north.
Okay.
And then
It's not along the current boundary.
I don't know what that means.
Along the current
Along the road.
Roadway?
The current road.
11 50 west.
No, it's
They're all
the
limited
the one that will connect to the highway out.
It ties into
It's
1730
west.
It's west of us.
west.
And we own that right of way.
Yeah, and that ties in by the old Dominion
Okay.
up there on the highway.
Yeah, and these some of these and some of their neighbor landowners they worked with us in selling that right of way so that we could build that road.
I'm just trying to figure out why they're so concerned about coming in, and if
I think that's why give it an opportunity.
if the road was
right?
like down that boundary and curved over through their property,
Yeah.
and it looks like you annex me to condemn me, then I can see why they would be concerned about it.
Yeah, it's
But
west of them.
It's west.
It's
of
west of it. It's
Yeah.
not going to do it. Dave could probably talk more about this, but I remember being younger and moving from here, and the airport being extended and cutting off that road that we're talking about there and dead ending it. There's a lot of feelings attached.
Yeah,
to it.
that guy's the most hurt.
Has
by
a
that
lot of
decision
feelings attached to it. The guy at
15
the
years
dead
ago.
end
Yeah.
used to be able
I'm
to go
frustrated
north,
for him.
Oh yeah.
hit the highway and get
My
on the
uncle
freeway,
owned that
and now he
home.
has to come south.
Yeah, we did that.
This is all before our time of,
And I think
got
he
that.
bought the house after that
Did he?
closure. Yeah.
so maybe he enjoys the dead end, where
Yeah.
the previous person didn't really like the dead end because they didn't
Yeah.
have a dead end.
And I think
Can-
giving people the opportunity, right, with a public hearing, let's have them have their say and go from
So
there.
basically, I'm not hearing it's a heck no. It's continue forward.
That's
See what
me.
people have to say.
I'm just one, as you told me earlier.
I would love to hear what they have to
Yep.
say, either if someone can go visit them or if we can get them here.
Maybe we could call a meeting and see if they'll come.
I would not propose some other meeting. I would propose the
public
public
hearings.
hearing.
Right here?
Yeah, that way there's no reason to
They're
create.
gonna be noticed
more.
anyway, so.
We cannot force them to come, so maybe they come, maybe they don't. But that certainly would be the opportunity. And I think reaching out to
But
them,
we
making
can
sure
let
they
them
would get a
know.
notice,
For sure.
right? So
Now, if they have questions before that and want to talk to, us, we can't meet together, but, make sure people are
Okay, will
comfortable to
you-
talk to staff before. Doesn't need to be their first thing here.
sorry, Mayor. Will you take if you're going to visit with them? Would you take our cards? Maybe Mr. Anderson, Corey Pierce's, and mine. Give it to them. If they have questions they want to ask us, they'd
Okay.
be happy. If I went and knocked on their door cold call, I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to solicit them to come in. But I'm happy to answer their questions or sit down with them, look at their specific utility bills, and I don't want anybody to feel like there's any shenanigans here. But at the same time, I'm
And
the position staff has.
Mr. Ash, it hasn't been a firm no. He says, let's talk. So I think, let's talk.
Yeah, let's try and get them on
let's move
board.
forward.
Thank
Got
you.
what you need?
Good luck, guys.
I think so. So, I believe we would take the annexation most likely to the Planning Commission the first Wednesday in February, and then we'd schedule the public hearing with the council in your second February meeting. That's kind of the schedule with it. We'd likely
And all
follow.
those folks would get that notice to
They would.
come to a public hearing.
Yeah, I think likely we'll make sure they know about that meeting.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that discussion. Thank you, applicants. Appreciate you hanging with us. We don't have any candy to give you for waiting that long, but something's.
Some M&Ms in the next room over.
Yeah. Thank you.
One kick out left.
Okay, looks like we have a closed meeting item on the agenda, so
Yep, I got you.
that's our next thing.
I move to adjourn to closed meeting to discuss the strategy sessions to discuss pending reasonable imminent litigation as provided by Utah Code annotated 52-4-205 in the Explorer Room.
Motion made by Councilman Card,
Second.
second by Councilman Took to adjourn into closed session. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned to closed meeting. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.